Hello everyone, welcome to our audiobook channel. If you enjoy the story or want to hear more exciting content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Your feedback helps us improve and bring even more captivating stories. Enjoy listening. Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Chapter 1, How Dare You Hit Your Old Man? Yan Jinyi had been resurrected. In order to wait for an empty slot in the resurrection quota, she had queued up in the underworld for 500 years. It couldn't be helped. At that time, the battle was intense. As the leader of the bandits who advocated unity and was kind and loyal, how could she see her brothers die a horrible death? All of a sudden, she couldn't control herself and killed all the enemies. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't have to queue up for such a long time. Yan Jinyi lay straight on the large and spacious bed, keeping her eyes fixed on the ceiling. If not for the fact that her chest was heaving up and down, others would probably think that she was dead. All of a sudden, a palm was swung at her face without warning, immediately leaving a handprint on her fair face. Still pretending to be dead, B*TCH, how dare you seduce my fiancé? I must beat you up and kill you today. The hot, stinging pain in her face made Yan Jinyi shudder before she snapped back to her senses immediately. She focused her vision and saw the haughty and domineering woman standing in front of her. The makeup on her face was very heavy and she looked just like a ghost from hell. She was dressed skimpily and all her limbs were exposed. At this moment, the woman was about to slap her again, but Yan Jinyi reacted quickly as she turned over and sprung up, kicking the woman with all her might and causing her to fly. Where did this shrew come from? How dare you hit me? While speaking, she looked around and was suddenly stunned. Where in hell is this? There were a lot of men and women dressed in strange clothing surrounding her in the house. All of them were either surprised or gloating at her. In addition, there were also many bizarre-looking things on display around. They were black and illuminated. Although those things were strange to her, she felt a sense of familiarity. She remembered that the employees of the underworld told her that the world that she was going to be resurrected in would be different from the world she was from. They allowed her to possess someone else's body because they were scared that she could not get used to it. Hence, Yan Jinyi was still digesting the memory in her head, but the woman she kicked away just now had already charged towards her aggressively and was about to slap her. Yan Jinyi's eyelids twitched and she reached out to drag the woman by her arm. With raised brows, she questioned indifferently, "Do you have a death wish?" Chen Ruoxiu would have never expected that the weakling Yan Jinyi would suddenly behave like a completely different person. Not only did she kick her, she even threatened her. Overwhelmed with pique, she barked, "Yan Jinyi, you're the one who has a death wish. Directorly, you must chase this little B*TCH out of set today. Otherwise, I won't go on with the shoot." The surrounding people began talking and comforting Chen Ruoxiu. Yan Jinyi pinched the spot in the middle of her forehead. She suddenly recalled that she was a celebrity now. The set was similar to the opera houses of her era. She was the leader of the Black Cloud Fortress, whose name would make others shudder in fear. Yet, she actually became a lowly actress who was a pushover that others would trample all over. Outrageous. However, isn't the original owner of this body already married? Her husband is wealthy but she ended up in such a pathetic state. Yeah, it seems that she isn't likable and her husband's family doesn't acknowledge her. She quickly filtered all the memories of the original owner before looking up at the person in front of her. Are you Chen Ruoxiu? Chen Ruoxiu, who was still threatening the director, was immediately stunned and a look of puzzlement appeared in her menacing eyes after hearing those words. Are you crazy? Don't you know who I am? I'm not crazy. She paused and continued with a solemn expression, you are. Chen Ruoxiu's face was suddenly twisted and she threatened, directorly, I don't care how suitable she is for this role. As long as Yan Jinyi is part of the cast, I will never return to set again. Director Li looked extremely conflicted and he seemed to have been put in a spot. Yan Jinyi was recommended to him by a friend. He admired her for her talent and good acting chops, but now. Chen Ruoxiu raised her chin a little and said arrogantly, what's the matter? Director Li, do you dare to offend Third Young Master Huo too? Fine, I'll call Third Young Master now. Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Chapter 2, so what if I don't want to apologize? Upon hearing that Chen Ruoxiu was going to call Third Young Master Huo, Director Li immediately smiled deferentially and said, Ruoxiu, it's just a trivial matter. Why do you have to alarm Third Young Master? Third Young Master Huo was the investor of the drama series that they were starring in and Chen Ruoxiu was his girlfriend. If she were to complain to him. After hesitating for a while, Director Li looked at Yan Jinyi awkwardly and said, well Jinyi, after all, you were the one who kicked Ruoxiu in the first place. Hurry and apologize to Ruoxiu. I believe Ruoxiu won't hold it against you. She knew clearly whether or not the detestable Chen Ruoxiu would hold it against her, but since Chen Ruoxiu had slapped her, Yan Jinyi was bent on holding it against her. Why should I apologize? Not expecting that answer from Yan Jinyi, who was usually obedient, Director Li said in surprise, Jinyi, after all, Ruoxiu. To their surprise, Chen Ruoxiu suddenly zoomed past them like a gust of wind and yelled coquettishly, Third young master, there's a D-list celebrity who bullied me and kicked me when we were filming. My stomach hurts so badly now. Third young master. As soon as the crew saw Third young master Huo, they took a step back one after another and secretly felt scared for Yan Jinyi, especially after hearing Chen Ruoxiu's words. They thought, it's over for Yan Jinyi today. Everyone knows how vengeful this malicious and sharp-tongued Third young master Huo is. He's also very protective. No matter how long he would stay interested in Chen Ruoxiu for, she was at least still his girlfriend. Third young master Huo Zihang. Yan Jinyi quickly found the information about this prestigious third young master, and at the thought of his relationship with the original owner, she couldn't help but curse. Huo Zihang happened to be near the studio when he received a call from Chen Ruoxiu's manager, so he decided to drop by and take a look. Chen Ruoxiu was rather noisy and talkative, but no matter what, she was still currently his girlfriend. Those who bullied her would be offending him. Upon hearing her words, Huo Zihang's face turned hostile and he asked, Who bullied you? Chen Ruoxiu looked even more aggrieved as she pointed at Yan Jinyi and said sobbingly, We were supposed to film the scene of me thrashing things out with the home wrecker, and slapping her is a mandatory scene. Besides, I only touched her face gently, but she kicked me. While mentioning this, Chen Ruoxiu tried her best to force some tears and pointed at the shoe print on her shirt. Third young master, you gave me this dress and I specially wore it to set for the scene. Third young master, this woman has always been unfriendly to me. Today, she even. Yan Jinyi lifted her eyelids and looked at Chen Ruoxiu coldly. She looked decent, but she had a vicious heart. Gently touched my face. Where did the handprint on my face come from? He had some recollection of the dress that Chen Ruoxiu was wearing. Huo Zihang looked up and gazed at Yan Jinyi coolly. She's beautiful. Why does this woman seem a little familiar? While he was feeling a little confused, Chen Ruoxiu began adding fuel to the fire. Third young master, putting aside what that woman did to me, she's very disrespectful to you too. Director Li wanted her to apologize to me on your account, but she actually refuted. Oh. Huo Zihang could not be bothered to figure out why she seemed so familiar. He was a famous and authoritative figure of status in Shenyang, whom everyone would greet politely. Yet, this woman actually disregarded him. Pointing at Yan Jinyi, Huo Zihang said in a tone that was full of annoyance, I don't want to hit a woman, so you'd better come here and apologize. Oh wow. This rascal is really haughty. He wants me to apologize, huh? Folding her arms, Yan Jinyi whistled like a gangster and said arrogantly, so what if I don't apologize? This woman is really haughty. Huo Zihang stared at Yan Jinyi's pretty face with a frown. He really hated women who were arrogant and self-righteous. Sure, you can choose not to apologize, but I naturally have my ways to make you do so. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, You were nothing when I was a bandit. All members of the Huo family had their personal bodyguards. Knowing that Huo Zihang was definitely going to get physical, Chen Ruoxiu looked at Yan Jinyi gloatingly, feeling extremely triumphant. See, third young master still cares about me after all. Huo Zihang waved his hands and the two tall and burly bodyguards behind him had already begun walking towards Yan Jinyi. The people in the room quickly turned away as they were afraid of witnessing a bloodbath. In the end, Yan Jinyi did not scream at all, even after a long time. Instead, Yan Jinyi picked up the broom without hesitation and swung it at Huo Zihang's body. No one expected Yan Jinyi to have the guts to hit Huo Zihang, including Huo Zihang himself. Hence, he only recovered from the shock and realized what was going on when the broomstick landed on his body. The burning pain spread throughout his entire body, causing him to jump on the spot and yell, How dare you hit me? You're tired of living, aren't you? Huo Zihang was completely enraged and he had already clenched his fists, all ready to attack. However, before he could even touch Yan Jinyi, she grabbed him backhandedly and easily restrained him. You, how dare you hit the third young master of the Huo family? Unable to move at all, Huo Zihang felt humiliated and infuriated to the point that his handsome face had turned red. The others were petrified and stood still, especially Chen Ruoxiu, who was the nearest to the two of them. She managed to witness the entire scene up close, and the sound of the broom falling on the body of third young master Huo was still echoing in her ears. When I was a bandit, you were still nowhere to be found. You're showing off those pathetic skills of yours. Don't you find it embarrassing at all? All you do is bully others, I even dare to hit the emperor, why would I be afraid of you? Since I'm back, I'll teach you a lesson on your brother's behalf. Huo Zihang, who was initially eager to rip Yan Jinyi into shreds, was suddenly stunned. On my brother's behalf. My brother? Wait, this woman is Yan Jinyi. Damn it. I was just wondering why she seems so familiar. This woman is my second sister-in-law who almost has zero presence in the Huo family. Since when did Yan Jinyi become so beautiful and so good at combat? While Huo Zihang was still overwhelmed with astonishment, the people around them had already begun hiding because Yan Jinyi had hit Huo Zihang, and they were afraid that they would get implicated even though they were innocent. She's out of her mind, Yan Jinyi is out of her mind. She actually dares to hit third young master Huo. Get in the car. Yan Jinyi sternly reprimanded before pulling open the car door and getting inside, ignoring Chen Ruoxiu and the others who were shuddering while looking at her. I'll teach these nobodies a lesson next time. Still taken aback by her domineering aura, Huo Zihang followed her into the car. Huo Zihang was still dumbfounded, but Yan Jinyi had already secretly begun sizing up the luxury car. So this is the unique mode of transport in this world. Not bad, not bad, it's indeed faster than the transport in the world I came from. In fact, she was also a bit shocked. To think that she had been an overbearing tyrant for 20 years in her past life, and despite being a bandit, she still had countless suitors. Yet, in this world, she was already married and had become someone else's wife. Looking at Huo Zihang from the corner of her eye, Yan Jinyi sighed a little. However, she cherished her life very much because she had queued up for 500 years for the chance to be resurrected. Spoiled heirs like Huo Zihang would end up squandering away all of the Huo family's assets sooner or later. At the very least, she was still the second young mistress of the Huo family, and for the sake of her future luxurious and carefree life, she had to keep an eye on him. When the car drove into a large mansion, Huo Zihang abruptly snapped back to his senses and realized that he had been hit. He had been hit. For the first time in 27 years of his life, Huo Zihang was hit by a woman. Yan Jinyi, you think you can act in second brother's name and throw your weight around in the Huo family just because second brother isn't around? Let me tell you, that's impossible. Even if second brother is not around, you're in no place to call the shots in the Huo family. Hurry up and kowtow thrice to apologize to me. It takes him quite long to react. Yan Jinyi smiled contemptuously, ignoring Huo Zihang and pushing open the car door to get out. Huo Zihang was even more infuriated when he saw her attitude. However, as soon as he spoke, he saw Yan Jinyi pulling out the branches that were used to hold the vines in place. Thinking about the fact that he had been hit by the broom just now, he still felt some pain. You want me to apologize, right? Yan Jinyi casually knocked the tree branch against the tree, raising one of her eyebrows lightly with a nonchalant smile. There was a tinge of mischief in her voice. Huo Zihang secretly swallowed some saliva and shivered, immediately feeling timid. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Chapter 4, Preventing her from committing adultery. Ahem, I can't be bothered to fight with you on the account that you're my second sister-in-law. Yan Jinyi glanced at him indifferently and threw the branch on the ground before placing her hands behind her back and striding into the mansion in front of her. Huo Zihang followed behind her, his gaze fixed on her back. A year ago, Yan Jinyi looked for the Huo family out of her own accord and asked them to fulfill the marriage agreement that Huo Zihang's grandfather had personally written. Since his eldest brother was already married at the time, his second brother would naturally be the one to fulfill the agreement. Huo Zihang and the other members of the Huo family all had a vague impression of her. She had always been timid and quiet. Whenever she returned home, she wouldn't dare to raise her head to look at anyone. Even during meals, she would wait for everyone to finish eating, before sneaking into the kitchen like a thief. Rumor had it that she was still an extra actor despite having joined the entertainment industry for 3 years. He had always thought that she was ugly, but she turned out to be a beauty. Her skin, in particular, was supple and tender. However, was Yan Jinyi actually that impressive? Did her inner demon begin to grow and she started to stage an act with the family because she had been ignored by second brother for a long time? Are your legs broken, or were you born without them in the first place? Even those who are crippled can crawl faster than you. Yan Jinyi's voice sounded again, and Huo Zihang touched his nose. Just as he was about to retort and insult her back, the spot on his body which had been hit by the broomstick began to hurt vaguely again. This woman is really so damned evil. The entire Huo family manor was quiet, with only a few servants carefully cleaning at the side. The luxurious decor of the room had also caught Yan Jinyi's attention. It's beautiful. The furnishing style of this era is so special. She walked and looked around, touching here and there. This black thing is a TV set, right? It's amazing that the performances that opera singers star in can be seen by everyone through this. Huo Zihang secretly despised Yan Jinyi in his heart when he saw her sauntering around the yard like a big shot. Hey, second brother spent a bomb on that painting that he got from the auction. If you dare to dirty it, you'd better be careful, second brother will kill you. After hearing his words, Yan Jinyi glared daggers at Huo Zihang, causing him to feel a cold chill down his spine as he immediately kept his mouth shut. Damn it, why is this woman so impressive? I actually see second brother's shadow in her. I'm going back to my room, Call me when dinner is ready. Pointing at his nose, Huo Zihang asked in disbelief, you're actually making me inform you when it's time for dinner. Yan Jinyi squinted and questioned coldly, why? Do you have any objections? The chilliness arose again. Huo Zihang hurriedly shook his head and said, I'll call you. That's more like it. The Huo family manor was very large. In addition to the main residence, there was a small mansion at the back that was dedicated to providing accommodation for the servants. There were a total of 4 floors in the main residence and most of the rooms were empty. Almost all of the masters of the house lived on the second and third floors. Her room was at the very end of the second floor and was once used as a utility room. Looking at the simple displays in the room, Yan Jinyi could hardly associate them with the luxurious furnishings downstairs. However, the original owner had done a good job at cleaning the place and keeping it tidy. Soon, her gaze fell on the photo frame on the bedside table. It was a photo of a couple that had been enlarged. It's called a photograph in this era, right? The background was a festive red color and a man and a woman were standing side by side in the photo. The bare-faced young woman was extremely beautiful, and her smile was a little shy. That woman was her. To be precise, it was the former owner of this body. The man beside her had a stern expression. His features were exceptionally good-looking and his thin lips were pressed tightly together, without a single smile on his face. In fact, he even looked a little disgusted and annoyed. In her era, the owner of the world's best manor was a handsome man who was famous for his good looks. However, the man in the photo was even better looking than that manor owner. Is this Huo Zishan, my in-name husband, the second young master of the Huo family and the current helmsman of the Huo family group? In the former owner's memory, Huo Zishan had gone to America to prepare for the setup of the new company after getting officially married to her. Since then, he had never returned. Good that he's not here, lest he get in the way of me committing adultery and looking for another man. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Chapter 5, The child is not mine. In the hearts of thousands of women, Huo Zishan was the best candidate for a husband. He was wealthy, powerful, and good-looking. It was no wonder the original owner desperately wanted to marry him. Unfortunately, the only memory of this man she had was the glimpse of him that she caught at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Yan Jinyi was still organizing her thoughts when she heard a timely knock on the door. When the door opened, she was greeted with Huo Zihang's demonic, handsome face. At this moment, disgruntlement was written all over his face and he urged in displeasure, it's time for dinner, hurry up. Yan Jinyi did not answer him immediately. Instead, she pointed at herself and said, who am I? He thought, is this woman out of her mind? She doesn't know who she is. I'm asking you a question, hurry up. Startled by her sudden holler, the dumbfounded Huo Zihang answered, Yan Jinyi. And second brother's wife. Although second brother doesn't acknowledge you as his wife. Yan Jinyi did not miss the derision and contempt in his eyes at all. Smiling coolly, she lectured, you're the son of a prestigious and rich family after all. You must have basic manners and etiquette. Remember to address me as your second sister-in-law in the future. After saying that, she made her way down the stairs. Huo Zihang stood rooted to the ground. I seem to have been defeated by Yan Jinyi's dominance again. There were many delicacies on the huge dining table. Yan Jinyi was a bandit who placed huge emphasis on congeniality and she often demanded the basic, mandatory etiquette from the people around her. When Huo Zihang took a seat, he saw Yan Jinyi eating the food in her bowl very elegantly. She was eating very slowly, and every action of hers was pleasing to the eye, resembling that of the noble ladies and consorts in TV dramas. Hey, are you very good at martial arts? For a long time, he did not get an answer from Yan Jinyi. Huo Zihang frowned and began to find that she was getting increasingly haughty and arrogant. I asked you a question. After drinking a mouthful of soup, Yan Jinyi picked up the napkin by the table and wiped the corners of her mouth with it. She then drawled, don't talk when you're eating. Must I teach you this? It's basic common sense. At the mention of this, she glanced at him and added, also, I am your second sister-in-law, it's not illegal for me to hit you. I can't let such an arrogant woman stay in the Huo family to harm second brother. While Huo Zihang was secretly thinking about his plan to chase Yan Jinyi out, he suddenly heard the sounds of a woman clamoring outside. Huo Zihang, who was initially already full of pent-up anger and irritation because of Yan Jinyi, slammed his chopsticks on the table after hearing the sounds. Who has a death wish and decided to come to the Huo family's manor to make a din? The butler hurried over and looked at Huo Zihang anxiously. Third young master, there's a woman outside the door claiming to be pregnant with your child. She wants you to take responsibility. Why don't? Huo Zihang asked with a furious expression, or else what? Or else she will expose the matter to the media. Yan Jinyi drank a mouthful of juice, folded her arms, and leaned on the backrest of the chair. I couldn't tell that you'd be so thoughtful as to create an heir early for the sake of the Huo family, third young master Huo. This vicious woman is adding insult to my injury. Huo Zihang said while gritting his teeth, the child is not mine. We'll know whether the child is yours once you see her, won't we? After saying that, she stood up and walked towards the sofa. Uncle Zhang, take my future sister-in-law in and let us take a look at her. Yan. Jin. Yi. Young mistress ignored Huo Zihang and stared at the hesitant butler who was standing at the door, her gaze gradually turning stern. Seems like my words have no impact at all even though I'm the young mistress of the Huo family. Yan Jinyi, what do you mean? That woman is obviously a con man. Am I the type to mess around outside and get girls pregnant easily? Are you not? Yan Jinyi asked. Huo Zihang felt humiliated. The person who showed up was a tall model who was dressed sexily. As soon as she saw Huo Zihang, she immediately wept aggrievedly. Third young master, I know you rich people look down on women like me who have a lowly status, but the child is innocent. Those maids even tried to hit me. Chapter 6. Chapter 6, Chapter 6, Are you pregnant with a pig? Not buying it at all, Huo Zihang glanced at the female model with a disgusted look and asked, Who are you? The female model was stunned for a moment, after which she cried even more agitatedly. Third young master, I'm Jiao Xiao, Wang Jiao Xiao. Third young master, even tigers do not eat their own cubs. The baby is yours. It doesn't matter if you don't recognize me, but the baby. In Yan Jinyi's era, it was commonplace for women to show up at the homes of wealthy people and beg them to acknowledge their babies, for the sake of living a life of luxury. Is the baby really third young master Huo's? Wang Jiao finally noticed Yan Jinyi's presence. Looking at the woman who was sitting on the sofa lazily, she suddenly felt a sense of crisis. This woman is so pretty. Is she third young master's current girlfriend? However, isn't third young master's current rumored girlfriend Cheng Ruoxiu? No matter what, she would never let anyone get in the way of her marrying into a rich family. Wang Jiao choked and looked at Yan Jinyi with wary eyes. Who are you? Your old man. Yan Jinyi's tone was haughty and arrogant. What? What? I said, I'm your old man. Huo Zihang burst into laughter without hiding it. This vicious woman Yan Jinyi is too talented. Third young master, she is your new girlfriend, right? Wang Jiao immediately looked pitiful and vulnerable as she placed one hand on her belly and one hand on her face. After crying for a long while, she sobbed and choked. Third young master, I don't want to ruin the relationship between you and her but this baby. My mother said, if you don't acknowledge the baby, she will kick me out of the house. Third young master, can you bear to see your child wandering around outside? Huo Zihang rolled his eyes and said, let it be then. Shock was written all over Wang Jiao's face and she thought, didn't they say that the Huo family is very concerned about having heirs? Why? Why did this happen? She once again glanced at Yan Jinyi with viciousness in her eyes, thinking to herself that Yan Jinyi must be the reason Huo Zihang was unwilling to accept her and their baby. After taking a deep breath, Wang Jiao suddenly slumped onto the ground. Third young master, the baby is kicking me. Third young master, hurry up and feel it. Third young master, it's a son. It's our son. Yan Jinyi couldn't help but ask, how old is the fetus? Glowering at her, Wang Jiao answered furiously, a little over 2 months. The fetus can kick you when you're less than 3 months along. Are you pregnant with a pig? Huo Zihang's eyelids twitched. Feeling ashamed and infuriated, Wang Jiao barked in a sharp and shrilling voice, how dare you call the Huo family's child a pig? She then turned to look at Huo Zihang. Third young master, scolding the baby is akin to scolding you. Huo Zixing shrugged his shoulders and pointed his chin at Yan Jinyi with his chin. She's my second sister-in-law. What? Wang Jiao froze for half a second before coming back to her senses. She abruptly widened her eyes and pointed at Yan Jinyi. Third young master, you said that she's your second sister-in-law. Raising his thick brows, Huo Zihang asked, do you have an opinion? He said so even though he did not want to admit it. Second young master Huo is married. How could that be? She thought that a godlike figure like him would never get married. Suddenly, Wang Jiao felt sour deep down. There were a total of 3 sons in the Huo family and the eldest one had gotten married long ago, and now that the second one had also gotten married. Didn't that mean that third young master Huo was the only bachelor left? Staring at Huo Zihang's extraordinarily handsome face, she thought, no matter what, I must marry into the Huo family. The position of the third young master's wife belongs to me. Yan Jinyi noticed all of Wang Jiao's expressions. Do you want to be the third young mistress of the Huo family? She suddenly asked. You are pregnant with the eldest male heir of the Huo family's next generation. By rights, you should be the third young mistress. Wang Jiao's eyes lit up and she thought, see, I knew it. Heirs are the most important to rich families. Knowing that I'm pregnant, how could they leave me and the baby out there without showing us any concern? Chapter 7. Chapter 7, Chapter 7, The shrew of the Huo family is too terrifying. Hearing those words, Huo Zihang glared at Yan Jinyi murderously and gritted his teeth before barking, Yan Jinyi, what are you trying to do? This vicious woman is not having a good time in the Huo family, so she wants to give me a hard time too. When Yan Jinyi glanced at Huo Zihang, he felt a cold chill down his spine. Yan Jinyi, I must chase you out of the Huo family. Yan Jinyi, I'm telling you, you are in no place to interfere or decide who I, the third young master of the Huo family, marries. You. Shut up. If you have the ability to get a girl pregnant, you must have the ability to bear the responsibility too. You're acting like a coward. Back in my era, you would have been dragged away and chopped into pieces. Get lost. Huo Zihang was already fierce enough, but Yan Jinyi was even more fierce and uncouth than him. Even a scoundrel like Wang Jiaojiao could not help but be shocked. Huo Zihang was once again defeated by Yan Jinyi's overbearing dominance. This woman is really creepy. In the blink of an eye, she's acting like she has been possessed by a ghost. Yan Jinyi ignored Huo Zihang and proceeded to look at Wang Jiaojiao with a grin. She even kindly helped her up and let her sit beside her. Do you want to be the daughter-in-law of the Huo family? Wang Jiaojiao nodded shyly and said, I don't want my child to be born without a decent identity and status. Smiling insincerely, Yan Jinyi said in a gentler voice, you probably don't know that the people of the Huo family have a special trait. What? What trait? Tell me about you first. Do you have a special trait? Wang Jiaojiao thought about it and continued to nod. Yes, even if I don't, I must make myself have that special trait. That's good. The people of the Huo family have always been resistant to beatings. Beatings. Yan Jinyi's smile vanished abruptly and she grabbed a feather duster beside her. She then began hitting Huo Zihang with it. Ouch. Yan Jinyi, I'm going to fight with you. Huo Zihang stomped his feet in pain with exasperation in his eyes as he glared at Yan Jinyi. Shut up, I'm your old man. Yan Jinyi scolded. When she looked at Wang Jiaojiao, she started smiling again. Wang Jiaojiao and the butler who was standing far away were completely confused. You, come here. Yan Jinyi beckoned and continued, first, let me see if you are resistant to beatings. It's not going to be much, just a few beatings with the rod. Wang Jiaojiao suddenly shuddered, feeling like her legs were turning into jelly. She could tell how painful it was from the grimace on third young master Huo's expression. I. Didn't you say that you are resistant to beatings? Wang Jiaojiao cowered and shivered before answering somewhat incoherently, no, I don't. I'm still pregnant. At this moment, Yan Jinyi suddenly stood up and threw the cup on the table to the ground. Since you are not resistant to beatings, what are you here for? Are you playing a prank on me? Do you really think it's so easy to marry into the Huo family? The loud sound of the cup being smashed against the ground scared Wang Jiaojiao to bits. Even her stomach began to ache vaguely. When she met Yan Jinyi's fierce gaze, she fell to her knees. I was wrong, I was wrong. In fact, the baby I'm carrying does not belong to third young master at all. I'm just greedy and I want to cozy up to a rich man so that I can live in luxury. While massaging his back, Huo Zihang heard her words and paused, wishing he could take out his knife immediately. How dare you con me, third young master Huo? Do you have a death wish? At this moment, all Wang Jiaojiao could think about was Yan Jinyi's violent behavior. With such a vicious and violent young mistress, she dared not marry into the family at all. She was scared that she might not live long enough to squander away the Huo family's money. On the other hand, Yan Jinyi was much calmer. Since you are not carrying the Huo family's child, what are you waiting for? Get lost. What? Are you asking for a beating? Yan Jinyi squinted. Wang Jiaojiao scrambled out of the door. This shrew of the Huo family is too terrifying. Chapter 8. Chapter 8, Chapter 8, Second brother, your wife has gone mad. Dumbfounded, Huo Zihang froze and stood still on the ground. The butler's jaw almost dropped to the ground. Yan Jinyi is impressive. Second young mistress is so amazing. Huo Zihang, come here. Seeing that she was curling her finger and beckoning him, Huo Zihang felt a little weak in his legs. Looking at her warily, he asked, What are you trying to do? Come here. I'm not going to repeat myself. Her voice was extremely pleasant but to Huo Zihang, it sounded like a death knell. After a moment of hesitation, he immediately dashed towards Yan Jinyi and stood beside her because he saw her picking up the feather duster. Take off your clothes. Yan Jinyi ordered sternly. Huo Zihang immediately raised both his hands to cover his chest. You can't look at my body. Raising her brows, she questioned, Or do you want me to rip them apart for you? Rip, not remove. Huo Zihang felt extremely aggrieved, a feeling he had never had before in the many years that he had lived. I must complain to second brother once he comes back. He took off his clothes in a wishy-washy manner, baring his toned upper body to her. He placed a lot of emphasis on staying in shape, and he was the classic example of men who look thin in clothes and muscular when topless. Huo Zihang was rather confident about his figure, and he looked at Yan Jinyi proudly, trying to find other emotions on her face. In the end, Yan Jinyi remained extremely calm. She was acting as if it was not a hunk in front of her but a pig. Yan Jinyi took a quick glimpse of Huo Zihang's back, only to see the red welts on it. She coughed and picked up an apple from the table. She then said, "There you go, it's for you." Bewilderment was written all over Huo Zihang's face. "You didn't embarrass the Huo family. Not bad, keep up the good work." She then patted Huo Zihang's shoulder, turned around and headed upstairs. Huo Zixing stood dumbfounded with the apple in his hand, looked at Yan Jinyi, and then at the apple in his hand. An inexplicable sentiment suddenly surfaced in his heart. Strange, why do the apples look so beautiful today? Has Yan Jinyi put some bewitching spell on me? Huo Zihang shivered abruptly and frantically picked up his cell phone. Star. In the large presidential suite, a man stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window with a wine glass in his hand. The rays of the afterglow of the sunset were scattered on his body, making him look like a god who was descending. Suddenly, the cell phone on the glass table rang with a rushed ringtone. The man walked over and reached out his slender and bony hand. Second brother, your wife has gone mad." Furrowing his thick brows into a frown, he replied indifferently, "You're mad." Huo Zihang listened to the sound of an engaged line coming from his cell phone and stared dumbfounded at the screen. "No, second brother, your wife has really gone mad. She even had the guts to hit me." Yan Jinyi took a comfortable hot bath and started planning for her future. It was against the law to kill and commit arson here, and her underlings were not around either. Her husband-in name was not reliable, so she had to rely on herself to build a massive amount of wealth. Rumor has it that being a celebrity is a high-paying job here. Yan Jinyi resolutely picked up the cell phone and began using it with difficulty. When she saw the lucrative amount that a certain celebrity was paid for filming, she decisively made up her mind. "I shall continue to harm. No, I mean, continue to shine in the entertainment industry." The production team that Yan Jinyi was part of now was for the drama, Unforgettably in Love with You. As usual, she was an extra actor and a detestable home wrecker. Seeing that the crew was about to wrap up, Director Lee stared at Cheng Ruoxiu, who was sitting on the lounge chair and throwing a tantrum, with a look of dismay. If not for the sake of Huo Zihang, he would have long kicked Cheng Ruoxiu, a demanding, unreasonable, bratty, and useless woman who was good at nothing except drawing attention to herself, out of the film set. Yan Jinyi was not to be trifled with too. She even had the audacity to hit Huo Zihang. How could she fear anything? Chapter 9. Chapter 9, I'm scared I'll die young if I be with you. Director Lee, after what happened yesterday, how can third young master Huo still let Yan Jinyi remain a part of the cast? He's kind enough not to boycott her. Should we hurry up and get her replaced? The assistant suggested softly. Yan Jinyi's name was now a taboo to Cheng Ruoxiu and no one dared to mention it at all. Director Lee took a puff out of his cigarette and said, "Let's wait for some time, it's not that simple to replace an actor. Especially those who are as beautiful as Yan Jinyi. However, you've seen Yan Jinyi hitting third young master Huo yesterday, and maybe, third young master Huo has already shredded her into bits. Since when has he been ill-treated in such a manner? That makes sense." Director Lee thought. Just as he was thinking about which actress might be suitable for the role, an eye-catching Pagani sped up and came to a steady halt at the side. Not many people in the entire Shenyang would dare to drive their car straight into the studio. It's third young master's car. Cheng Ruoxiu, who was still scolding her assistant, stood up abruptly and scurried over with glistening eyes. "I wonder what third young master has done to that B*tch Yan Jinyi. Humph, that woman had the audacity to bully me and hit third young master. She must have been dealt with harshly." After the door of the car was pushed open, Huo Zihang took the lead and alighted. Dressed in stylish black streetwear and a pair of sunglasses, he leaned against the front of the car bonnet slovenly. Cheng Ruoxiu walked over and hugged Huo Zihang's arm affectionately, causing the women around her to be green with envy and jealousy. "Third young master, when I got home last night, I discovered that my stomach was bruised. It must have been because I got kicked by Yan Jinyi. Third young master, you said that you liked my delicate skin the most and that you want me to take good care of it, but now, how dare you mention Yan Jinyi? If it wasn't for you, would I have been beaten by Yan Jinyi?" With a straight face, Huo Zihang retracted his arm from Cheng Ruoxiu's hand. At this moment, the car door was suddenly pushed open and Yan Jinyi got out of it slowly. Cheng Ruoxiu and the rest of the production crew were dumbfounded. Why is Yan Jinyi still alive? She even came out of Third Young Master Huo's car. Chen Ruoxiu's expression changed a little and she asked, Third Young Master, what's the matter with her? Why did Yan Jinyi come out of your car? None of your business. Hearing his words, Chen Ruoxiu gritted her teeth and asked pitifully, Third Young Master, did I do something wrong? I'll change, okay. Don't be so fierce to me, I'm scared. Yan Jinyi opened her eyes and rubbed her ears in annoyance. I didn't want to touch you at first because you're a pretty lady. However, you just had to kick up a fuss here. Don't blame me for being unkind to you. She strode forward to pull Chen Ruoxiu away from Huo Zihang. I'm scared that I'll lose a significant amount of my lifespan if I continue being in the same caste as you. Yan Jinyi keeps talking in such an uncouth manner. Does she have no regards for her image anymore because she thinks that she's not famous enough? Chen Ruoxiu turned pale and she wondered if Yan Jinyi had become Huo Zihang's new girlfriend. No, this can't do. I had a hard time enduring the moon curse for a month and everyone thinks that I might be Third Young Master's true love, and the one who will become the third young mistress of the Huo family. I can't let my plans be foiled like this. Third Young Master, did this woman drug you to bewitch you? Yan Jinyi, this woman is very promiscuous and she has a bad reputation in the industry. She'll get close to any man who might be beneficial to her. Huo Zihang remained silent and subconsciously looked at Yan Jinyi. He initially thought that Yan Jinyi would fly into a rage and pin Chen Ruoxiu down against the ground to beat her into a pulp, but in the end. Director Lee, this is my last scene, right? We can start filming now. Start filming. You beat Third Young Master Huo and you still. Director Lee glanced at Huo Zihang inquisitively. Ahem, she's helped me before and I'm not an ingrate. Hurry, get the cameras rolling. So that's why Yan Jinyi insisted on making me send her to the studio personally. Chapter 10. Chapter 10, Chapter 10, she is full of evil. Third Young Master, this woman had the audacity to hit you yesterday. Why are you still letting her remain as a part of the cast? Chen Ruoxiu asked, filled with jealousy. This woman has gone overboard, Third Young Master, you. It's none of your business. I'm happy and willing to do so, Huo Zihang rebuked, glaring at her. Would I bear with this mistreatment if I could beat her? Chen Ruoxiu bit her lip and detested Yan Jinyi even more when she sensed the gloating gaze that was cast at her. How did this B*TCH bewitch him? She just has a pretty face, that's all. She graduated from a lousy school, and after being in this industry for 3 years, she's still given unimportant roles. Does she really think she can marry into a wealthy family? Yan Jinyi could not even manage to clinch the role of the third lead in this drama. However, her role in the drama this time was crucial because she would make the audience feel extremely resentful towards her. It was the last scene of the drama and she was playing the character, Li Yuya, who finally took advantage of the fact that the female lead, Zhao Weiren, was injured and kidnapped her to commit acts of violence on her. In the end, she was shot to death by the male lead. Yan Jinyi didn't have to read the script at all. She was just as malicious, brutal, and ruthless as the character she had to play. After getting her makeup done, Yan Jinyi sat on the leather sofa like a big boss. They were in an abandoned warehouse, which was extremely dim and she was shrouded in darkness. Suddenly, the closed door was pushed open, and the warehouse gradually brightened up. 2 tall men were walking in while holding down a disheveled-looking woman. I've brought the person you asked for. Where's the money I deserve? Li Yuya hummed lightly and looked at the person in front of her with disdain in her eyes. What's the hurry? She suddenly got up, her flaming red lips now curved upwards bizarrely. She strutted towards Zhao Weiren in her high heels and bent her back a little. Huo Zihang, who was initially seated at the side and playing with his cell phone, immediately put it away and sat up straight. Yes, that's the gaze. Yan Jinyi always gazes at me like this when she's about to hit me. He somehow felt that Chen Ruoxiu was about to suffer. At this moment, Yan Jinyi suddenly turned around to look at the director. Director Lee, as a vicious woman, I should make both the audience and my co-actors resent me, right? Although Director Lee was clueless as to why she suddenly asked that question, she nodded and said, of course, that would prove that you have good acting skills. Yan Jinyi turned around and gave Chen Ruoxiu a slap without saying a word. Covering her face, Chen Ruoxiu looked at her in disbelief and muttered, You. Do you think I'll let you off now that you're in my hands? She stepped forward and slowly squatted down, with a bloodthirsty smile on her pretty face. Take a look at yourself. You actually want to go against me with what you've got. As she spoke, she slapped Chen Ruoxiu again, causing one side of the latter's face to become extremely swollen. At this moment, Yan Jinyi was like a demoness who would kill without batting an eyelid and would dismember her body in the next second. Chen Ruoxiu shuddered, her eyes full of resentment. Yan Jinyi must be doing this on purpose. Despite knowing that they were just filming, the crew somehow felt that Yan Jinyi was actually taking revenge. The 2 slaps that she had given Chen Ruoxiu were extremely hard, such that they caused her face to become as swollen as a pig's head. Immediately afterwards, they heard an applause. Well done. Huo Zihang suddenly discovered that it was really thrilling to watch Yan Jinyi hitting others. Everyone else present was speechless. Third young master Huo, she's your girlfriend. Chen Ruoxiu was both ashamed and enraged. I must rip Yan Jinyi's face apart and show third young master who's more suitable for him. Thinking about this, Chen Ruoxiu immediately put on an aggrieved look as she covered her face and sobbed. Third. Yell again and see if I'll tear your mouth up. Chapter 11. Chapter 11, Chapter 11, Yan Jinyi is on the hot search list. Zhao Weiren, don't overestimate yourself. Before seducing him, did you take a look at yourself? Yan Jinyi was saying the lines from the script. However, Chen Ruoxiu felt that Yan Jinyi was directing it at her. This be *tch Yan Jinyi. Doesn't she go around seducing men with her pretty face too? When Yan Jinyi saw the resentment in Chen Ruoxiu's eyes, she smiled derisively. She thought, her acting skills are so lousy that she can't even compare to me, an outsider of the showbiz industry. No wonder she has to rely on men to get the resources she has. Do you hate me? Do you hate me so much that you want to cut me into 1,000 pieces? Laughing hysterically, she continued, unfortunately, you won't have the chance to do so. Director Li and the rest of the crew exclaimed in amazement. Previously, Yan Jinyi would seem particularly cowardly whenever she acted in the same scenes with Chen Ruoxiu, but today, her acting skills were superb. Everyone enjoyed the show. Huo Zihang suddenly discovered that his second sister-in-law was not useless after all. Rubbing his chin with one hand, Huo Zihang thought, it seems, this vicious woman is an artiste under my company. Yan Jinyi's closing scene was almost a one-sided torment for Chen Ruoxiu. When Yan Jinyi slapped her for the last time, Chen Ruoxiu finally lost control of her emotions and covered her face as she burst into tears. Looking at Huo Zihang, she said, Third young master, Yan Jinyi did it on purpose. She must have done it on purpose. Third young master, this woman has violent tendencies. Look at my face, Huo Zihang would show sympathy to beautiful girls. At this moment, Chen Ruoxiu did look rather hideous. Just as he was about to put in a good word for her, he suddenly sensed Yan Jinyi's murderous gaze. Damn it, it's starting to hurt in the spot that I got hit. Isn't it according to the script? Slightly stunned, Chen Ruoxiu asked, Third young master, what do you mean? Huo Zihang frowned and pointed at the script. Aren't you guys acting out the scene according to the script? In other words, he meant that Chen Ruoxiu ought to be slapped since that's what was written in the script. Has third young master been bewitched? Why is he defending such an unreasonable and wicked woman? Chen Ruoxiu secretly clenched her fists. She would not let the matter go just like that. Yan Jinyi, I must make you pay the price. Perhaps because they had witnessed Yan Jinyi's violent behavior yesterday, the servants of the Huo family manor were all terrified and daunted when they saw her. Watching Yan Jinyi alight from Huo Zihang's car, they felt like they had been forced into hell. Third young master, second young mistress. Yan Jinyi was wearing a black dress today, and she looked rather elegant, with her long hair draped down her back. In comparison, Huo Zihang, who was usually demanding, unreasonable, sharp-tongued, and tyrannical, seemed to have become Yan Jinyi's submissive follower at this moment. Carrying the large suitcase, his handsome face was flushed but he dared not voice his displeasure to Yan Jinyi at all. Once second brother is home, I must make him chase this vicious woman out of the Huo family. Third young master, second young mistress, Miss Huo came home this afternoon. Where is she now? Huo Zihang's eyes lit up. Ever since she was a child, Huo Qingyuan had had explosive combat power. He thought that maybe he could get her to deal with Yan Jinyi. The butler sighed and said, she left after taking some clothes with her. She said that she's going on an overseas trip that's organized by the school. Yan Jinyi folded one arm and rubbed her chin with the other as she walked towards the house alone. Rumor had it that Miss Huo was extremely difficult to deal with as she was capricious and bratty. She often got into fights in school and her grades were poor too. If she was not a member of the Huo family, she would have probably been expelled a long time ago. Not bad, she has the demeanor that I had when I was a bandit. Unfortunately, I can't get to see her for now. Yan Jinyi was extremely picky with her meals, insisting that she had to have lean meat for every meal. She was almost as picky as his second brother. At this moment, Huo Zihang's stomach was already rumbling because he was famished. However, Yan Jinyi was seated right opposite him and the only thing he could do was to bear with it. He unlocked his cell phone and got ready to post something on Weibo when he suddenly discovered that Yan Jinyi's name was on the hot search list. Chapter 12. Chapter 12, Chapter 12, Background Actress Yan Jinyi. The title Background Actress Yan Jinyi Assaults Chen Ruoxiu was followed by eye-catching and flabbergasting words. The root cause of the hot search was a Weibo post by Chen Ruoxiu's manager. The manager wrote, "This is the first time I've seen such a domineering actress. More importantly, she's just an actress who plays minor roles. Ruoxiu has put up with her countless times, but she's going more and more overboard." She even used filming as an excuse to beat up Ruoxiu. There were a few photos of Chen Ruoxiu laying weakly on the bed, attached below the post. There was a bandage wrapped around her forehead, and the corners of her mouth were obviously bruised. As one of the most popular stars at present, Chen Ruoxiu had countless die-hard fans who would definitely fly into a rage when they saw the post. They were all posting hateful and angry comments in the comments section. Huo Zihang read through all the comments and sprung up from the sofa. Outrageous, how can these bastards scold the people of the Huo family? Although Yan Jinyi was indeed very cruel and brutal today, she was still the daughter-in-law of the Huo family after all. Yan Jinyi was engrossed with playing a mobile game that was meant for toddlers. Seeing this, her eyes turned dim and she asked coldly, "Are they asking for a beating?" Huo Zihang rolled his eyes and tossed his cell phone at her. "Look at it yourself." Yan Jinyi caught his phone effortlessly and stared at the screen for a long time to scrutinize the messages. "What is this thingy? Thingy. This is Weibo. Don't tell me you don't even know what Weibo is." Yan Jinyi tried to recall it carefully and came to a sudden realization. "Oh, you mean the social media platform where a lot of brainless die-hard fans gather?" Huo Zihang vaguely felt attacked. What does she mean, the platform where a lot of brainless die-hard fans gather? Don't all young people use Weibo nowadays? All of a sudden, Huo Zihang looked at Yan Jinyi peculiarly. "Don't tell me you don't have a Weibo account." Raising her brow, Yan Jinyi asked, "Is there a rule where I must have one?" The original owner really did not have a Weibo account. Huo Zihang thought, seems like she really doesn't. That explains why she can remain so composed even though she has been criticized harshly. Huo Zihang started teaching Yan Jinyi how to use Weibo with great patience, which was rare of him. At the same time, he showed her the malicious comments. Where did this hideous woman come from? How dare she beat my Ruoxiu? Does she have a death wish? The ugly ones are always causing trouble. Her face is full of plastic. Sisters, let's dox her. Are D-list actresses all so arrogant nowadays? Call the police. Garbage. Oh my god. Ruoxiu seems to have been beaten badly. That woman should die. Pointing at the screen, Yan Jinyi looked up at Huo Zihang and asked, "Are they scolding me?" Duh, who else had hit Chen Ruoxiu openly in front of the crew? She even hit him too. At the thought of this, Huo Zihang felt pain radiating throughout his entire body. Yan Jinyi cursed softly, "She deserves it? Why? Is she trying to blame me for her head injury too? Didn't she suffer that injury because you hit her?" Yan Jinyi smacked her hand against the table, causing Huo Zihang to be so frightened that he shivered and quickly retreated. "Let me dig your faulty eyeballs out. I've only ever slapped women on their faces. Why would I hit her for it?" He had never seen anyone who'd sound as righteous as Yan Jinyi after hitting someone. He felt that she was a female gangster. At this moment, Chen Ruoxiu's fans were doxing Yan Jinyi. When they discovered that she would be attending a press conference in a few days' time, they began to get ready to fight for their idol. Faced with the brazen taunting by Chen Ruoxiu's fans, Yan Jinyi was rather composed. Huo Zihang secretly decided that if things were to get out of hand, he would step in to suppress it. Apart from the fact that Yan Jinyi was an artiste of his agency, she was also the second young mistress of the Huo family, although no one knew about it. Chapter 13. Chapter 13, Chapter 13, Why won't that woman go and die? I've hit someone, can the Huo family deal with it? Yan Jinyi suddenly asked. After being stunned for a while, Huo Zihang asked in confusion, "What? Will I go to jail if I beat them up and cause them to be crippled?" "You're scared of going to jail too, huh? What were you doing just now?" Despising her in his heart, Huo Zihang said in an arrogant manner, "With the Huo family around, everything can be settled as long as you don't kill them." Hearing his words, Yan Jinyi nodded and said, "In this case, I'll beat them up in your name." Huo Zihang gritted his teeth and his face turned pale immediately. "How dare you?" She knocked her slender fingers against the table, completely ignoring the furious Huo Zihang. Seems like there are benefits to being the daughter-in-law of the Huo family. The drama Unforgettably in Love with You was adapted from an extremely popular online novel which revolved around the classic storyline of a domineering CEO falling in love with the female lead. The character whom Yan Jinyi was playing was one of the female supporting characters and also the most detestable one. The venue of the post-production press conference was completely crowded with people, most of whom were fans of the male and female leads. One of the groups looked particularly eye-catching. That group consisted mostly of college students who were all dressed in white t-shirts and holding banners that read "Yan Jinyi, apologize to Ruoxiu." When the creators saw that, they felt worried for Yan Jinyi. Strictly speaking, Actors who played minor roles, like Yan Jinyi, were not qualified to attend the press conference. However, it couldn't be helped since she was related to Huo Zihang. Is Huo Zihang a masochist? Why did he get hit by the rod end? Yan Jinyi was dressed in a particularly eye-catching outfit today. She was wearing a long, black retro skirt, a small black hat, and holding a silver spherical bag in her hand. As soon as she appeared, everyone cheered in joy. Who's that lady? Why haven't I seen her before? She's so pretty. She looks so sophisticated and her outfit is beautiful. Is she the female lead of the drama? Why do I find her so familiar looking? She's Yan Jinyi, the vicious woman who hit our Ruoxiu at the set. Suddenly, someone yelled and Chen Ruoxiu's fans swarmed forwards immediately like lunatics. The security officers at the scene frantically stopped them while Yan Jinyi remained exceptionally calm when facing the fans who wished they could skin her alive. Director Li, where do I sit? Director Li coughed and pointed at the seat that was all the way behind. There. They allocated a seat all the way at the back to me. Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrow lightly. I may no longer be a gangster but I still. Forget it, I'll make this place my turf sooner or later. Chen Ruoxiu arrived slowly, more than 10 minutes after the press conference had begun. At this moment, her head was still wrapped in thick bandage and the assistant was helping her to her seat. Her feeble appearance made her fans feel heartache. Oh my god, Ruoxiu's face is so pale. Trust that background actress to have the cheek to sit there. Ruoxiu has such a good temper. She got beaten up so badly but she doesn't even blame her. Yeah, her injuries are so severe. As long as Ruoxiu insists on reporting it to the police, that background actress will have to be jailed for at least 2 weeks, right? Chen Ruoxiu first greeted the director and the rest before looking at the people below the stage. She smiled feebly and said, sorry to have made everyone worried, I'm alright. At this moment, a discussion had already started on Weibo. That background actress is actually sitting there like nothing had happened. My poor baby Ruoxiu, look at her complexion. She probably had plastic surgery. Why doesn't this woman go and die? Oh my god, I initially didn't have much of an opinion about Chen Ruoxiu but now I've fallen deeply in love with her. She's too kind. I hold a black belt in Taekwondo. Please let me join the team to beat up the background actress. Chapter 14. Chapter 14, Chapter 14, I must chase you out of the Huo family. Chen Ruoxiu's manager whispered something into her ears before leaving quickly to go backstage. Chen Ruoxiu glanced at Yan Jinyi using her peripheral vision and sneered. She thought, third young master hasn't appeared even after such a long time. He definitely doesn't value that woman Yan Jinyi. The press conference started off with the speeches of the creators and Yan Jinyi was the last to speak. The host began to ask her about the matter regarding her beating up Chen Ruoxiu. Jinyi, after seeing Ruoxiu covered in wounds, do you have anything to say to her? Yan Jinyi yawned lazily and lifted her eyelids to look at the host before shifting her gaze back onto Chen Ruoxiu. Chen Ruoxiu immediately put on a terrified expression and shuddered while moving to the side. Ruoxiu, don't be scared. We're all here, she won't dare to do anything to you. Yeah, if Yan Jinyi bullies you, we'll beat her to death. Chen Ruoxiu wiped the corners of her eyes and was just about to speak when she suddenly shrieked in pain and pressed her temples. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling too well today. I've affected everyone's mood. She first bowed to the cast and crew, and then bowed towards the guests present, and then to the audience. After that, there were many more people who voiced their concern for her. Some of the audience might not know, but the production crew were well aware that Chen Ruoxiu was not a kind soul either. She was pretentious and put on airs all the time. However, they dared not offend her because she had a powerful backer. Ruoxiu, you're injured. Stop standing and sit down, quickly. The host walked over to hold onto Chen Ruoxiu with a look of sympathy. He then glowered at Yan Jinyi. Unrepentant women like her are a disgrace to the entertainment industry. Yan Jinyi saw everything. After Chen Ruoxiu was done with her act and finally quietened down, Yan Jinyi said nonchalantly, ah, did your head get bitten by a mosquito? With hatred in her eyes, Chen Ruoxiu put a hand on her forehead and answered cautiously, Jinyi, I know you didn't do it on purpose. You only hit me because you wanted to act out the scene well. Yan Jinyi suddenly stood up and walked towards Chen Ruoxiu. Placing the microphone in front of Chen Ruoxiu, she said, come on, speak louder. Chen Ruoxiu began to feel somewhat intimidated. What? Repeat everything you just said. What I just said? What is Yan Jinyi trying to do? You can choose not to repeat yourself but let me ask you a question. Yan Jinyi said smilingly, it's a good thing for an actor to be dedicated to his or her work, right? You just clarified the matter for me. I hit you because I'm dedicated to my career. You're willing to get hit by me, right? Chen Ruoxiu turned red, wishing she could rip Yan Jinyi into a million pieces. Yan Jinyi had laid a trap for her. If she said no, she would be admitting that she was not a dedicated actress, but if she said yes, it would be tantamount to clearing Yan Jinyi's name and embarrassing her manager. Let me rephrase my question. Will you blame me for hitting you? Chen Ruoxiu smiled forcefully and said, no, I won't, why would I? She had to pay the price for being too pretentious and hypocritical. Yan Jinyi smiled slyly and suddenly slapped Chen Ruoxiu on the face. Don't put all the blame on me. I didn't even touch your forehead. I don't have the ability to give you such a serious injury. No one expected Yan Jinyi to slap Chen Ruoxiu right in front of the public, especially with the presence of so many reporters. Chen Ruoxiu was dumbfounded as well. She cupped her face and stared at Yan Jinyi in shock for a long time before recovering from the shock. She frowned and asked with a grimace, you. If you have any issues, go look for Huo Zihang. He was the one who instigated me to do this. After saying her piece, Yan Jinyi sauntered away from the venue of the press conference. Huo Zihang was watching the live broadcast of the press conference on the TV at home and cursed, damn it. Yan Jinyi, I must chase you out of the Huo family. Chapter 15. Chapter 15, Chapter 15, made a cuckold by his brother. Once again, there was an uproar on the internet. Damn it, I've seen savages but none of them were as unruly as Yan Jinyi. She openly slapped someone at the press conference. Where's the police? Just saying, when she slapped Chen Ruoxiu, I found her really cool and roguish. Damn. She's really wild and mad. Poor Chen Ruoxiu. B*tch, how dare she slap Ruoxiu? Am I the only one who noticed that she said that third young master Huo is the one who put her up to this? Everyone knows that Chen Ruoxiu and third young master Huo are in an ambiguous relationship, but now, it seems like it's someone else he's in an ambiguous relationship with. In America, a man was leaning languidly against a large and luxurious sofa. The room was dim and the perfect contours of his face could be seen vaguely. He was holding a lit, flickering cigar between his thin and long fingers. Mr. Huo, the latest news in our nation is that third young master seems to have a new girlfriend again. Without even battling his eyelid, Huo Zishan said in an indifferent and enchanting tone, you don't have to report such trivial matters to me in the future. Yes, Mr. Huo. One more thing. Huo Zishan furrowed his thick eyebrows a little and glared at his assistant who couldn't help but shiver. When Huo Zishan switched on the lights, the assistant finally handed the electronic tablet over to him carefully. Mr. Huo, I think you'd want to see this. After receiving the tablet, he saw a video that was playing on a loop. In the video, a gorgeous woman was slapping another woman. Why does the woman in a black dress seem a little familiar? Huo Zishan tried to recall from his memories, but he could not remember any information about her at all. What do you mean? Mr. Huo, that woman who slapped the other woman is, your wife. His assistant swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Huo Zishan had interacted with Yan Jinyi before and he remembered her as a gentle, vulnerable, timid, and boring woman. However, the person in the video was his wife. Huo Zishan's frown became deeper, and he felt that there seemed to be such a person. Her name was Yan Jinyi. He suddenly remembered that Huo Zihang had called him a day ago to tell him that Yan Jinyi had gone mad. He casually tossed the tablet aside and said, got it? The assistant hesitated for a while again before saying, but Mr. Huo, the woman who's rumored to be third young master's new girlfriend is. Madam. Upon hearing those words, Huo Zishan finally had a reaction. Did my brother and my wife make a cuckold out of me? As soon as Yan Jinyi reached home, she saw Huo Zihang who was standing at the door with a furious expression, wishing he could rip her into bits. Brother, have you become sensible enough to know to receive your sister-in-law at the door? Huo Zihang gritted his teeth and glowered at her. You're thinking too much. Am I? After glancing at Huo Zihang, she walked past him and entered the house. The maid who was cleaning the sofa saw Yan Jinyi walking over and immediately scurried to the kitchen in fear. She had witnessed how Yan Jinyi beat up the third young master and the woman who tried to scam them. Today, she even heard the news of Yan Jinyi slapping an actress in front of the media. She did not want to be hit by the angsty and hot-tempered Yan Jinyi. Seeing this, Yan Jinyi touched her nose and said, Huo Zihang, get your ass here now. Huo Zihang was enraged after hearing her words. His eyesight was sharp and he saw Yan Jinyi picking up the feather duster on the coffee table. His heart trembled and he immediately dashed towards her. What's the matter? Are you afraid of me? She picked up the feather duster with one hand and knocked it against the sofa at the side while questioning him. Although she wasn't using much force, Huo Zihang was nonetheless terrified and he felt his scalp turn numb. The power of the feather duster was truly incredible. Even till now, he still felt an excruciating pain on his back. What do you want? Hurry and speak. I'm very busy and I don't have the time to talk nonsense with you. Help me set up a Weibo account. Huo Zihang rolled his eyes. That's all. Chapter 16. Chapter 16, Chapter 16, Her Moniker is Cheating Spouse. Huo Zixing tapped his phone screen a few times and asked impatiently, "What do you want your moniker to be?" Yan Jinyi blinked in puzzlement and asked, "Huh? Your Weibo username, your internet moniker." In this era, it seemed that the stranger monikers were, the better. After thinking about it for a moment, Yan Jinyi answered, "Cheating spouse." Huo Zihang's hand trembled while he was holding his phone. He was dumbfounded. "Why? Do you have an opinion? You already have my second brother and you still want to cheat on him. Why don't you die?" Huo Zihang mocked her in his head. "Are you sure? You're the second young mistress of the Huo family after all. What if?" She had really forgotten about that. Yan Jinyi suddenly recalled her former profession and said, "Bandit leader then." After setting up the Weibo account for her, Huo Zihang followed her account without hesitation. He initially thought that she would personally log onto Weibo and berate the netizens who had criticized her and wrote spiteful comments about her on the internet. However, in the end, she simply shared a post from a food blogger on Weibo and logged off. "You're the second young mistress of the Huo family and your reputation represents the reputation of the Huo family. Are you not planning to settle it?" Huo Zihang couldn't help but ask. Yan Jinyi shrugged her shoulders nonchalantly, not bothered by him at all. "Less than 10 people know that I'm the second young mistress of the Huo family. Right. She's just the in-name daughter-in-law of the Huo family, whom no one acknowledges. Hey, do you like acting a lot?" Yan Jinyi glanced at him lazily and said, "Call me second sister-in-law." Huo Zihang took a deep breath. He couldn't be bothered to argue with her. Truth be told, he was rather infuriated to see the malicious comments that the gossipy women made about Yan Jinyi. "You're an artiste under TG Entertainment and you're considered half my subordinate. How about I arrange a personal manager for you?" "Yes, I'm only doing this to prevent Yan Jinyi from embarrassing the Huo family." While speaking, Huo Zihang comforted himself. "No, I don't plan to act for the time being." Well, she wouldn't take on any acting jobs at least until she found a good script. Besides, would the manager Huo Zihang arranged for her be reliable and competent? Yan Jinyi was very doubtful. Yan Jinyi, this ungrateful woman who doesn't know any better. Surprisingly, the promiscuous and untamed Huo Zihang decided to get to it himself. He sent a Weibo post. "1 in a million third young master Huo, pretty face, I plan to groom her, I don't dare to speak about her, my life is more important." Although his statement was incoherent, he nonetheless clarified the rumors about him and Yan Jinyi. That was not all. He also released news about TG Entertainment's plans to groom Yan Jinyi, and many netizens even guessed that TG Entertainment had planned for Yan Jinyi to hit Cheng Ruoxiu, so as to bring some attention to her and expose her to the audience in a unique manner. "I don't get what's going on. Yan Jinyi hit my Ruoxiu for real. Someone's retarded fan, get lost. I've always thought that that person with the surname Cheng is pretentious and hypocritical. She seems to have a good reputation among her fans, but I don't think she has any close friends in the industry. Maybe TG Entertainment is trying to build an image for Yan Jinyi by portraying her as someone with a straightforward personality." Putting everything else aside, I was thrilled when I saw Ruoxiu getting slapped. In this drama, the female lead whom Cheng Ruoxiu plays has snatched my idol away. All the netizens began posting comments and directing their hate at Cheng Ruoxiu after seeing that Huo Zihang had personally cleared Yan Jinyi's name. He was a big shot of the entertainment industry, after all. At this moment, in the luxurious presidential suite, Cheng Ruoxiu was leaning against a middle-aged man, her fair face blushing peculiarly. "Mr. Wang, I've already broken up with third young master for your sake. Otherwise, why do you think he'd help that woman?" Wang Jianhang held Cheng Ruoxiu's hand and said, "Baby, you've made the right decision to be with me. Huo Zihang changes his girlfriend so frequently. It's only a matter of time before you get abandoned. Just rest assured and be my mistress. I'll help you deal with that woman Yan Jinyi." Chapter 17. Chapter 17, Chapter 17, I'll definitely be devoted to you. "Mr. Wang, as long as you help me deal with Yan Jinyi, I will definitely be devoted to you," Cheng Ruoxiu said in a dainty and gentle voice, which was extremely pleasant to his ears. Wang Jianhang smiled lewdly and said, "Baby, shall we get cozy with each other tonight?" Although there was a look of disgust in Cheng Ruoxiu's eyes, she was still smiling. Fortunately, she had the foresight to know that she might lose her backer, Huo Zihang, at any time. Hence, she had been keeping Wang Jianhang on the hook and tempting him. Wang Jianhang was the live-in son-in-law of the Han family who had married the daughter of the Han family for the sake of a promising career. On the surface, he was a good husband, but actually, I have to look for a better backer sooner or later. Yan Jinyi did not expect the slap that she had given Cheng Ruoxiu at the press conference would bring her some job opportunities. A local reputable skincare brand had offered her an endorsement deal for their products. Yan Jinyi did not have a personal manager. The manager who was in charge of her was also handling more than 20 other newbies who were all more famous than Yan Jinyi. The first time I saw you, I thought it was a pity that you were not in the entertainment industry since you've got such a pretty face. However, I didn't expect that you'd still be in the doldrums 3 years after joining the entertainment industry. Great, now you've become famous because of violence, the middle-aged woman said as she patted Yan Jinyi's shoulder. You've come to the end of your suffering. Although the endorsement fees are not high for this brand, it's a good opportunity for you to advance to the next level. Looking at the woman in front of her, Yan Jinyi couldn't be bothered to even smile at her. That woman's name was Li Hua, and she was a mercenary person. Based on the original owner's memory, she knew that that woman had created plenty of trouble for her in the past, and this time, she probably had a sudden and drastic change in attitude because she had seen Huo Zihang's Weibo post. How much will I be paid for the endorsement? In the past, Yan Jinyi would never ask about her remuneration. Hence, Li Hua was slightly stunned and the look in her eyes became a little guilty when she gazed at Yan Jinyi. She covered her lips and coughed, and began to feign ignorance. It'll definitely be at least tens of thousands of yuan. Well, you know very well that the company has invested a lot in you in the past 3 years. The company will not do business that brings us losses. Now that you have the ability to make money, you must first repay the company. Repay the company. We'll follow the contract then. I shall receive 150,000 yuan as remuneration. A single cent less and I'll see you in court. Yan Jinyi immediately cut Li Hua off and glanced at her coldly. 150,000 yuan may be considered peanuts to other celebrities but not to her. She was in need of money. She was still waiting to rebuild her turf. Li Hua's expression changed and she stared at Yan Jinyi with a frown. Just as she was about to chide her, Yan Jinyi suddenly stood up to leave the meeting room without even turning around. Staring at Yan Jinyi's back, she secretly clenched her fists. It seems that Yan Jinyi has really changed. What a joke. The total remuneration offered is only 150,000 yuan. If I give her everything, what am I going to get? Does she really think she can throw her weight around and put on airs just because she has gotten into the good books of third young master Huo? After Yan Jinyi was long gone, Li Hua picked up her cell phone to dial a number quickly. The call was only connected a long time later. I'm Li Hua, I agree to work with you. That woman is so unruly, it'd be good to teach her a lesson. Wouldn't it be better to let Yan Jinyi star in an adult film after the matter is completed? Yan Jinyi finally got to enjoy a few days of peace. However, the wayward Huo Zihang soon got involved in a scandal again. There were news of Huo Zihang and a young model photographed behaving intimately with each other at entertainment joints. Some of the tabloids began using Yan Jinyi as a topic for their content, stating that the true meaning of Huo Zihang's Weibo post was that he didn't fancy her and hoped that she would have the self-awareness to know that. Chapter 18. Chapter 18, Chapter 18, I'm your ancestor. Huo Zihang is in need of a lesson. Yan Jinyi turned off the TV with a straight face. He's the third young master of the esteemed Huo family after all. Why is he associated with these dubious weirdos? The maid who brought some juice to Yan Jinyi saw that and was so frightened that she stood still, not daring to move. Just as she was hesitating about whether she should wait a while before sending the juice, the butler hurried in from outside. Second young mistress, third young master got into a fight with someone at the entrance. Got into a fight? With who? Yan Jinyi asked with a frown. The person who lives in the mansion opposite our manor. He seems to be Wang Jianhang's younger brother. Who's Wang Jianhang? The butler wiped the sweat on his forehead and explained, the owner of a cable company, who used to cooperate with the Huo family. Yan Jinyi nodded. No matter what ties the two families used to have, she would not spare anyone who bullied her people. She picked up the feather duster casually and sauntered towards the door in her slippers. Bring me there. She found out from the butler that Wang Jianhang's younger brother, Wang Qifeng, was the same age as Wang Jianhang and the two of them were former classmates who were at odds against each other. Wang Qifeng was also a well-known playboy in Shenyang. He was incompetent, ignorant, and liked to bully others. In the past, Wang Qifeng would still have some scruples because of the Huo family. However, he actually dared to fight with Huo Zihang this time. It seemed that Huo Zihang had done a horrendous thing. As soon as Yan Jinyi walked out of the manor, she saw a few men in a scuffle below the crooked tree that was dozens of meters away from her. The buttons of Huo Zihang's shirt had already been ripped away, revealing his toned chest muscles. The other man was a little chubby and his tattered clothes were hanging loosely on his body. He seemed even more disheveled than Huo Zihang. Standing at the side, Yan Jinyi observed them for a while before saying, why do these two men fight like women? Women, women. The butler's lips suddenly twitched. Huo Zihang usually paid a lot of attention to his appearance and for the sake of being handsome, he dared not let his hair get too short. Wang Qifeng decided to take the chance to grab his hair. My hair is very precious. Move your paw away. Do you believe that I'll chop you up? You're the one who's being a bully. Huo Zihang, others might be afraid of you but I'm not. Yan Jinyi touched her nose and dashed over with the feather duster. Huo Zihang felt someone tugging the back of his collar forcefully. Before he could even react, he was already pushed away forcefully. Next, he saw the feather duster being swung in front of him. Smack! The feather duster landed hard on Wang Kefeng's body and a familiar female voice sounded. How dare you bully my brother? Are you asking for a beating? Wang Kefeng grimaced because of the sudden pain. Gritting his teeth, he glared at Yan Jinyi and barked in infuriation, Where did you come from, shrew? How dare you beat Wang Jianhang's younger brother? He's just a live-in son-in-law, does he really think he's something? As Yan Jinyi spoke, she swung her feather duster again. Damn it! Where did this shrewish gangster come from? Wang Kefeng jumped up and down in pain, covering his back with one hand and his leg with the other. Who are you? Do you really dare to offend my brother? I'm your ancestor. Huo Zihang did not expect Yan Jingyi to suddenly appear. He was stunned and dumbfounded to see Yan Jinyi beating Wang Kefeng up bravely. I'm here to give my younger brother some help. If you're not happy, get your useless brother, who lives off his wife, to come fight with me. Younger brother. It finally dawned on Wang Kefeng that she was referring to Huo Zihang. But doesn't Huo Zihang only have 2 elder brothers and 1 younger sister? Chapter 19. Chapter 19, Chapter 19, You even hit your own family. If you don't want me to break your legs, hurry up and apologize. Wang Kefeng grimaced and glared at Yan Jinyi. Why should I apologize? It was Huo Zihang who stole my girlfriend. Good that he did. Yan Jinyi clapped and continued, one should always snatch what they like. It doesn't matter who your opponent is, just go ahead with the snatching. This. Wang Kefeng stared at Yan Jinyi's pretty face. She's so beautiful, why does she act like a female bandit? Is this how the Huo family educates their juniors? No wonder the Huo family has been staying strong for hundreds of years. I've learned it now. Huo Zihang did not expect to hear Yan Jinyi standing up for him and he suddenly felt touched when he thought about the fact that she had hit someone for him. Just as he was about to say something nice to her, the feather duster landed on his back. Ah, damned woman, what did you hit me for? You're the 3rd young master of the Huo family and you got beaten up into such a state. Aren't you embarrassed at all? Shut up. Also, did you dig out the eyes of a pig and attach them to your face? That stupid young model has a smaller chest than you. Is someone like her worth fighting over? Huo Zihang felt humiliated because she had compared his chest to that of a woman's. However, he had no choice but to just listen to it at this moment. Are you really from the Huo family? How can there be such a shrew from an elite family? Shocked by Yan Jinyi's ferocity, Wang Kefeng said, You even hit your family. Tisk, tisk. What does it have to do with you? If you have a death wish, I'll cut you up. Must I account to you, whether or not I'm from the Huo family? I've beaten more people than you can ever imagine. If you don't want to die, get lost. Stop being an eyesore. Is Yan Jinyi really a woman? Huo Zihang suddenly began to take pity on Wang Kefeng. Not only was he berated, he got hit too. However, the domineering and ferocious person was his sister-in-law. Ha! Although he had been hit by her too, Huo Zihang felt that Yan Jinyi seemed to be shining brightly at this moment. You're not a woman at all. I can conceive and give birth. Can you? I'll admit that I'm not a woman the day you can give birth to children, Yan Jinyi said, glaring daggers at him. Wang Kefeng was speechless. So was Huo Zihang. Standing near them, the butler was at a loss for words too. Huo Zishan, who just called the butler, happened to hear Yan Jinyi's words and was bewildered as well. Who's that woman? The butler shivered and placed the cell phone back beside his ear. He secretly swallowed some saliva and said, She's second young mistress. Huo Zishan remained silent for a while before saying, Okay, resume your duties. Yan Jinyi still did not know that her in-name husband had heard her pugnacious words. At this moment, she was still teaching Wang Kefeng a lesson. You're so ugly and yet you're still vying with 3rd young master Huo for a woman. Wang Kefeng gritted his teeth and pointed at Huo Zihang with agony on his face. Clearly, he's the one vying with me. Nana dated me before the news of him and her came out. Blame it on your incompetence. This is such a shameless affair. If I were you, I would have long hid at home and not dare to come out. You still have the audacity to come out. You deserve this. Even if you want to defend him, this is not the way to do it. So how is this woman related to the Huo family? Wang Kefeng's chubby face was pale yet red. He wanted to leave but he felt that it would be too embarrassing to do so. He wanted to continue thrashing things out with Huo Zihang but chickened out again when he saw the ferocious Yan Jinyi. At this moment, a black commercial vehicle drove towards them from afar and pulled over beside them. Chapter 20. Chapter 20, Chapter 20, Third Young Master Huo's Sister. The car door opened and a middle-aged man alighted from it. He looked a bit similar to Wang Qifeng, but his figure was surprisingly much better than Wang Qifeng. He was clearly a fitness fanatic who had been hitting the gym regularly for years. As soon as Wang Qifeng saw him, he immediately ran over. "Brother, that woman actually dared to hit me with a feather duster." When Wang Jianhang heard that someone dared to hit his own brother, he suddenly glared at Yan Jinyi in exasperation. She was wearing simple home clothes, her long hair casually draped behind her back. She was leaning sideways a little as the warm rays of sunlight cast on her body. She was prettier than Cheng Ruoxiu. With some gloominess in his eyes, Wang Jianhang asked, "Who's that woman?" "She seems to be Huo Zihang's sister." Huo Zihang's sister. Wang Jianhang finally discovered Huo Zihang, who was standing behind Yan Jinyi. He walked over and said, "So it's you, Third Young Master Huo. Did Qifeng get into a conflict with you again?" The Huo group was huge and they owned many subsidiary businesses. Huo Zihang was in charge of the entertainment company under the group. The person in charge of the family now was the second son of the Huo family, Huo Zishan. However, he had always stayed out of his siblings' affairs. If not for the fact that he was a member of the Huo family, Wang Jianhang would have really despised Huo Zihang, heir of a wealthy family. However, he ought to show him the mandatory due respect. Huo Zihang had always despised Wang Jianhang, who relied on his wife's family to make a fortune. He immediately retorted hostilely, "Mr. Wang, you'd better take your younger brother in hand." "Brother, he snatched my girlfriend away from me and I've been embarrassed because of this." Wang Jianhang glared at his younger brother and said, "It's just a woman. If Third Young Master Huo likes her, let him have her." As he spoke, he turned to look at Yan Jinyi again. "This beauty is. My name is Yan Jinyi." Yan Jinyi. Why does her name sound so familiar? After thinking about it for a while, Wang Jianhang came to a sudden realization. His expression immediately became strange and he soon said with a smile, "Miss Yan, I've heard a lot about you." He was wondering why Huo Zihang suddenly had a sister who popped out of nowhere. It turned out to be Yan Jinyi. Seems like Huo Zihang really has an illicit affair with this woman. He looked at Yan Jinyi's fair and beautiful face lustfully, and suddenly changed his mind. "Miss Yan, did you hit Qifeng? He deserves it." Yan Jinyi said those words suavely without mercy. "Since Third Young Master Huo has taken a liking to Qifeng's girlfriend, shouldn't you be angry?" Yan Jinyi looked at Wang Jianhang like she was looking at an idiot. "Why should I be angry? This woman is pretty wild." Wang Jianhang even began fantasizing about getting intimate with Yan Jinyi. Just as he was about to speak, the sounds of a woman coughing suddenly came from the car. Wang Jianhang frowned before smiling again. "Third Young Master Huo, if you like that woman, Qifeng will let you have her. We have something on at home. I'll bring Qifeng home." "Brother, that woman hit me and you. You deserve to get hit. Before you vie with someone for a woman, look at who they are. Get in the car." Deep in thought, Yan Jinyi stared at Wang Jianhang's car and watched him leave. If she had seen correctly, there was a woman in his car. She was the woman who had a feud with her. Yan Jinyi suddenly recalled the rumors about her and Huo Zihang which were circulating around the internet, and her smile suddenly became peculiar. "Interesting. I shall wait for you to come here and court death." Huo Zihang initially wanted to ask Yan Jinyi to go home, but when he turned around and saw her devilish smile, he shuddered in fear. "What are you smiling so sinisterly for?" "I'm thinking about which method of death is more thrilling, okay." Chapter 21. Chapter 21, Chapter 21, Do you think I'm easy to deal with? Who are you trying to get killed? Yan Jinyi smiled wickedly and lifted Huo Zihang's chin with her slender finger. "If you disobey me, I'll kill you first." Huo Zihang did not doubt her words. This female gangster Yan Jinyi is really. After smacking her hand away, Huo Zihang grimaced and said, "Why did you hit those people for me? Wang Jianhang may not be a big deal, but his wife is not easy to deal with." "Do you think I'm easy to deal with?" Yan Jinyi asked. Huo Zihang shook his head with certainty at the thought of her violent behavior in the past 2 days. What a joke, who can beat this female gangster in a fight? They're going to lose in terms of aura alone. When Huo Zihang reached the entrance of the mansion, he said with some reluctance, "Thank you." Yan Jinyi looked at him, feeling a little surprised. This spoiled brat actually knows to thank me. She smiled and turned around to answer casually, "My family members should not be bullied by anyone except me." She then turned around and headed upstairs. Stunned, Huo Zihang stared at her slender and graceful figure as she walked away. Although she looked weak and vulnerable, her body contained massive explosive power. Huo Zihang's emotions suddenly became a little complicated. Even his brothers were not as protective as her. It's actually not bad having her as a member of the Huo family. If second brother really doesn't like Yan Jinyi. Yan Jinyi, who was unfamiliar with technology, nonetheless spent the entire day searching for information about Wang Jianhang on the internet. In the end, she came to the conclusion that he lived off his wife. However, Wang Jianhang was rather lucky and he was indeed suited to being a businessman. Although he relied greatly on his wife's family, the Wang enterprise, which he had single-handedly built, was developing rapidly. In fact, it was vaguely showing signs of surpassing the latter. It's no wonder his brother is so arrogant. As soon as Wang Kefeng got inside the car with Wang Jianhang, he saw the beautiful woman in the back seat. She was really quite pretty. Her skin was fair and she was fashionable and stylish. To top it off, she was even a famous celebrity. In the past, he would have definitely been unable to resist it and proceeded to flirt with her, but after having had some experience with Yan Jinyi, he subconsciously compared the two women. The roguish woman, Yan Jinyi, was beautiful and had a sophisticated vibe. Right from the start, Chen Ruoxiu had seen Yan Jinyi and Huo Zihang who were outside the car, and she was overwhelmed with jealousy. Doesn't third young master Huo already have a new girlfriend? Why is he still involved with Yan Jinyi? She was extremely bitter and disgruntled when she thought about the fact that she had never visited the Huo family's manor before, and yet, Yan Jinyi showed up there. As soon as she saw Wang Jianhang returning to the car, she immediately asked coquettishly, "Mr. Wang, why did that woman show up here?" Wang Jianhang smiled contemptuously and said, "She just used some tricks. She's pretty hot." Chen Ruoxiu could tell from the gaze in his eyes that he was bent on getting his hands on Yan Jinyi. Seems like this old man is attracted to that hussy Yan Jinyi too. Why? Mr. Wang, do you fancy her? She belongs to Huo Zihang now. Besides, aren't you already married, Mr. Wang? Chen Ruoxiu had a childlike voice which made her irresistible whenever she acted coquettishly, especially to a womanizer like Wang Jianhang. He immediately pulled Chen Ruoxiu into his embrace and kissed her. "Baby, don't worry. No matter how many women I have, you will always be the one I love the most. You're annoying." Wang Kefeng couldn't help but compare Chen Ruoxiu with Yan Jinyi again. Could it be that I am actually a potential masochist? Why do I find that woman even more attractive? Mr. Wang, if you really like Yan Jinyi, I can help you woo her. Why don't we play together? Wang Jianhang's eyes lit up and he asked, "Really? Mr. Wang, as long as you want her, I'll help you. You just have to promise me that you'll ruin her reputation after you're done having fun. Don't worry, I'm only after a sense of novelty. Once I'm done, it's up to you to deal with that woman as you please." Chapter 22. Chapter 22, Chapter 22, Still a Hot Girl. Shenyang was a beautiful city that was absolutely mesmerizing. After a little more than 10 days, Yan Jinyi had gradually begun to get familiar with this unfamiliar world. Although the air quality here was poorer than where she had come from and she couldn't be the leader of the bandits, everything else was not too bad. In particular, the bars here were very much to her liking. Yan Jinyi was wearing a metallic black leather jacket and shorts, with her long, black hair tied up at the back of her head. Her face was covered in heavy, smoky makeup that she had hired a makeup artist to apply for her. At this moment, she was like a gothic siren who was blooming in the dark. Huo Zihang was controlling the steering wheel while scrutinizing Yan Jinyi. "Hey, we're just going to the bar for some drinks. Must you dress yourself up like this?" Biting a toothpick, Yan Jinyi looked at Huo Zihang sideways when she heard his words and asked, "Do you have an opinion?" He did not dare to have an opinion. As soon as the car came to a steady halt, Yan Jinyi eagerly entered the bar, and when she saw the noisy scene in the bar, she felt like she had arrived in a new world. That bar was the usual gathering place for the heirs and heiresses of wealthy families, and also the place that actresses would frequent to find a backer. It was impossible for ordinary people to enter. "Hey, I'm going to see a friend, what about you?" Huo Zihang yelled as he covered his ear with one hand. At this moment, Yan Jinyi was focusing all her attention on the racy beauties who were pole dancing on the stage. She waved her hand in annoyance and said, "Get lost, don't disturb me. If someone finds trouble with you, just report my name." Huo Zihang instructed proudly. Entertainment joints that were frequented by members of the upper-class society were actually rather dangerous. Besides, Yan Jinyi was dressed in an enticing outfit. Still feeling worried, Huo Zihang gave some instructions to the waitress nearby before leaving. As he left, he continuously turned around to look at her. Yan Jinyi was acting almighty and suave, so he thought that she was knowledgeable and had seen plenty of the world. Yet, it turned out that she had never even been to a bar before. Tisk, tisk. Has this woman gotten rid of all her bones? How can she be so flexible? She might as well not wear anything. She's dressed so skimpily and peculiarly. Unsightly. Wow, this move makes her B*TT look so perky. I really feel like touching it. While Yan Jinyi was enjoying herself, She made several comments about the beauties who were dancing on the stage. "Pretty girl, did you come alone?" a man suddenly asked teasingly while placing a hand on her shoulder. Yan Jinyi changed her position in annoyance and said, "Get lost, don't disturb me from enjoying the dance." The person was not infuriated either. He simply walked towards Yan Jinyi and stood in front of her to block her vision. He was a man who was dressed stylishly. His hair was dyed a vibrant blue color, and he was tall and slim, a classic pretty boy, the type of men that were currently popular. "You're so hot. Beauty, I'm the son of the family who owns Hongyuan Real Estate. Will you allow me the pleasure to have some drinks with you?" "No. Get lost before I flare up." Usually, all women would be attracted to him as soon as he revealed his identity, no matter how elegant and lofty they pretended to be. However, Yan Jinyi was unique and different from them. Smiling like a rascal, he took out a black card from his wallet and said, "There's 500,000 yuan in here. Have a drink with me and it'll be yours. I can let you be a tyrant in Shenyang from now onwards too. How does that sound?" Yan Jinyi finally looked him in the eye and asked, "I'm not a crab, why would I want to do that? This beauty is not reacting the way I expected her to." "Enough, pretty girl, I've already set my sights on you. Do you want a house or a car? I can give it to you. Do you have too much money to spend? Are your brains fried? Why are you offering to buy a house for a stranger? Get lost. Don't force me to touch you." Chapter 23. Chapter 23, Chapter 23, Hottest chili in the world. He only spoke to her nicely because she was a beauty. He did not expect her to be that arrogant. With a stern expression, the man asked, "Do you know the consequences of offending me? I'll make sure you can't make a living in Shenyang. You'd better be more sensible and apologize to me with a toast now." It was the first time that someone asked her to apologize with a toast. "Are you sure you want to accept my toast of apology?" There was a tinge of coldness in Yan Jinyi's voice, and she sounded like an aloof and ethereal beauty. However, those who had interacted with her would know that she was the hottest chili in the world. "I've taken a liking to you. After you drink, I'll let you be my girlfriend and give you the authority to be a tyrant in Shenyang. How does that sound? Does it sound like a good deal?" "Good deal, my foot." Yan Jinyi put on a fake smile before clenching her fist and punching him. "How dare you flirt with me? You're really brazen, huh? You look so weak and you still want to be my boyfriend. Are you asking for death?" After her punch landed hard on his face, his somewhat handsome face immediately swelled up. "Damn it! How dare you hit me? What are you people waiting for? Tie this bitch up. I'm going to teach her a lesson myself." A group of men and women quickly surrounded Yan Jinyi. Seeing that the famous overlord of the bar, Zhao Xingkan, had been beaten up by a beauty who had a gorgeous figure, they took out their cell phones and began taking photos. The bar was in chaos. Zhao Xingkan covered his face. Sensing that the cameras were flashing at him, he yelled menacingly, "Try taking another photo of me. You people don't want to make a living in Shenyang anymore, do you? Damn it, I have always been adored by many women who want to suck up to me. Since when have I ever been hit by someone, worse still, a woman?" Looking at Yan Jinyi who had been surrounded by others, he picked up a bottle of white wine from the table and handed it to her. "Finish this bottle of wine today and I'll kowtow to you thrice. Otherwise, don't you think of leaving this place." Yan Jinyi tidied the messy hair in front of her forehead and looked up lazily at the bottle of white wine when she heard those words. Soon, she looked away and said, "If you dare to stop me, don't blame me for being nasty," she said coldly with an indifferent gaze. The blinding laser lights scattered on her from time to time, and her ears were filled with dynamic music. Zhao Xingkan and others were inexplicably shocked by the aura around her. "Don't you just want to get close to a rich man? You should feel honored that I've taken a liking to you, you. You're young but you're very arrogant, huh? Your mouth is fouler than garlic that has been pickled in the cellar for hundreds of years." Yan Jinyi turned her head and put one leg forward to grab the wine bottle, after which she started pouring the wine on Zhao Xingkan. "With that appearance of yours, you want me to drink with you? Did you take a look in the mirror and check your gender before leaving the house?" Yan Jinyi was obviously taking a jab at Zhao Xingkan and mocking him for being too effeminate. Zhao Xingkan was also completely enraged. He ordered, "What are you people still waiting for? Today, I must teach this bitch a lesson." The waiter who was hiding behind the crowd realized that the troublemaker seemed to be the person whom Huo Zihang entered with just now and immediately sped upstairs. Huo Zihang was playing chess with some of his platonic friends and the doors opened when he was in high spirits. His handsome brows furrowed into a frown, but before he could even speak, someone exclaimed eagerly, "Third young master, the beautiful woman you came in with just now has gotten into a fight with young master Zhao downstairs." "The woman who came in with me? Since when did I come here with a woman?" As soon as Huo Zihang raised his hand, he stood still on the spot. It's Yan Jinyi. Chapter 24. Chapter 24, Chapter 24, Your wife is awesome. Yan Jingyi got into a fight with someone again. Looking at the waiter, Huo Zihang asked, who did she fight with? Zhao Xingkan from Hongyuan Real Estate. That sissy. Huo Zihang immediately began grinning widely in joy. Well done. That loafer wants to be part of my social circle and he's all polite and courteous towards me on the surface. However, he often criticizes me in private. Heaven has done some justice. He must have got beaten up into a pulp by my sister-in-law. Why? Does that woman have a feud with third young master Huo? He looks really glad. The son of a rich man said teasingly while seated opposite him. Huo Zihang raised an eyebrow and asked, since when have I ever had a feud with a woman? I'm thrilled to hear Zhao Xingkan getting scolded and beaten up. The rich man's son did not think so. Zhao Xingkan has many connections in this circle too, and they all look out for each other. How could they leave Zhao Xingkan in the lurch after seeing him getting beaten up? Moreover, he got beaten up by a woman. Huo Zihang humphed coldly. Such an ignorant bunch. How could Yan Jinyi be compared to ordinary women? She's a member of the Huo family, she's my second sister-in-law. However, I'm curious about the woman who dared to fight with Zhao Xingkan. She should be the daughter of some wealthy family, right? How would ordinary people dare to offend the son of the owner of Hongyuan Real Estate? With a mysterious expression, Huo Zihang said, since you're curious, go take a look and you'll find out. They flocked towards the corridor of the second floor and craned their necks to see the spectacular view downstairs. The young woman who was dressed in a cool outfit was seated on the couch with an empty wine bottle, and bossing Zhao Xingkan around. The rich man's son Zhao Xingkan, who was usually arrogant and domineering, was kneeling in front of her and trembling while holding a plate of peeled apples with both hands. Damn. Am I blind? When has Zhao Xingkan ever served others? Who's that beautiful girl? She looks pretty hot, she's my type. As soon as he spoke, he felt as if someone was glaring daggers at him, causing him to feel a cold chill down his spine. Huo Zihang suddenly found his childhood friend to be an eyesore. If anyone has to like her, it's got to be me. It has nothing to do with these weirdos. They should look at themselves in the mirror before coveting a woman from the Huo family. Zhao Xingkan didn't expect this hot and beautiful woman to have such a feisty personality, especially her high proficiency in martial arts. She was just like a member of the special ops teams. Never in his life had he ever been beaten up so terribly. Why are you shivering? Are you getting an epileptic seizure? Yan Jinyi rebuked as she was about to grab a piece of apple when she saw the plate trembling. Zhao Xingkan's forehead was covered in sweat. He did not want to shiver either, but his back was aching. SST. This woman is like Hercules. Her punch was so hard that it made his body feel like it was about to fall apart. I'm hungry. Zhao Xingkan immediately shot one of his underlings a glance and exclaimed, hurry and go. Huo Zihang saw everything and quietly took out his phone to record a video, which he then sent. In America, Huo Zishan had just ended a video conference. It seemed that he had to postpone his plans to return to his home country. He leaned against the sofa gently and raised his hand to pinch his straight and high nose bridge. All of a sudden, a WeChat notification tone sounded. After a long time, he picked up his cell phone and opened the message. Second brother, your wife is awesome. She even subdued that sissy Zhao Xingkan. He opened the video and played it once. Huo Zishan was speechless. So rough. At the end of the corridor on the second floor, Cheng Ruoxiu put away her cell phone and handed it to her agent with satisfaction. This woman is really dauntless. Expose this matter to the media. Don't worry, leave it to me. Mr. Wang is waiting for you inside, go in first. Cheng Ruoxiu frowned after hearing his words. She couldn't help but look at Huo Zihang. He was not the only son of the Huo family. At the thought of this, she smiled and thought, I'll take care of that B*TCH first. Chapter 25. Chapter 25, Chapter 25, I like doing everything myself. As expected, Yan Jinyi made it to the hot search list again. The first hot search topic was the one about Cheng Ruoxiu comforting her fans and the second was Yan Jinyi. The article accused her of having violent tendencies and reported the matter of her beating up the heir of Hongyuan Real Estate. However, only the video of Yan Jinyi beating Zhao Xingkan up was revealed. It did not reveal the matter of Zhao Xingkan being forced to become her servant for the night. She's just a woman who's worse than a D-list celebrity. How did she repeatedly make it to the hot search list? She managed to get on the hot search list because of violence. Tisk, tisk, I find her so suave whenever she hits someone though. What's the matter with this woman? Now I believe the analysis of a certain account. She must be Huo Zihang's woman. Besides, they must have made some sort of a deal with each other. However, how can an irrelevant actress like her be fit to be on the hot search list? Initially, the hot search was about Yan Jinyi beating someone up, but somehow, it turned into a comparison between Yan Jinyi and Chen Ruoxiu. Chen Ruoxiu had a lot of brainless die-hard fans who were all criticizing Yan Jinyi and condemning her. They even brought a lot of hate to her. Yan Jinyi was having breakfast while listening to the butler read a few comments aloud. Supporting her head with one hand, she began thinking about it. Not used to seeing her being quiet, Huo Zihang said, "Hey, woman. You can get me to help you. After all, I'm the CEO of TG Entertainment." Yan Jinyi looked at him sideways and said, "Eat your meal. If you're bored, go out for a run. Look how weak you are." Huo Zihang's handsome face grew sullen. "Humph, vicious woman who doesn't know any better. Second young mistress, I do think that someone is manipulating things behind the scenes and deliberately drawing hate to you." Yan Jinyi nodded and her cell phone suddenly rang at the side. She glanced at it to see that it was a call from Li Hua. She drank a sip of fruit juice in a relaxed manner before pressing the answer button. Soon, she could hear Li Hua hollering. "Yan Jinyi, don't get me involved if you want to court death. How dare you hit the heir of Hung Yuan Real Estate? You've got a death wish, don't you? From now on, I'll submit an application to the higher UPS and inform them that I don't wish to be in charge of you anymore. You're on your own now. You're such bad luck." Li Hua scolded her for a long time, but Yan Jinyi did not interject. After she was done, Yan Jinyi drawled, "Is there something else?" After being stunned for a while, Li Hua said in a hostile tone, "Your brand endorsement contract has been terminated, and I've replaced you with another artist. Since you've offended Hung Yuan Real Estate, I can't let you take on this endorsement anymore. That's my endorsement deal, and this woman gave it away without asking me. My 150,000 yuan is gone just like that." Yan Jinyi was suddenly overwhelmed with anger. "Li Hua, listen up, you'd better pray that you do not meet me in the future, or I'll beat you up to the extent that your mother can't recognize you. Who are you? How dare you cancel my endorsement deal?" After that, before Li Hua could even reply, she hung up. Huo Zihang and the butler were dumbfounded after hearing her words. Ahem, do you want me to teach Li Hua a lesson? We can discuss the endorsement." Yan Jinyi looked up and said, "I like doing everything myself. Moreover, she had a better plan. Well, investment is a crucial part of film production." When Li Hua heard the sounds of the phone being hung up, she gritted her teeth and smashed her cell phone against the ground. "You're just an actress who isn't that famous. Yet you have the audacity to threaten me. Yan Jinyi, I'm going to make sure you find out the consequences of offending me." Previously, she had gotten implicated because of the rumors of Yan Jinyi being in an ambiguous relationship with Huo Zihang. Now, Yan Jinyi made it to the hot search list on the internet again because she had hit the heir of Hung Yuan Real Estate. Even though Hung Yuan Real Estate could not compare to the Huo family, Huo Zihang wouldn't get into a conflict with Hung Yuan Real Estate because of an actress. Li Hua resolutely sent out Yan Jinyi's latest itinerary. Chapter 26. Chapter 26, Chapter 26, Baby, are you impatient? Second young mistress, I saw Mr. Wang and a woman passing by when I was sweeping at the entrance just now. Yan Jinyi was eating some watermelon when a neat-looking maid approached her. When I saw that she was Chen Ruoxiu, I thought I'd come and tell you. Yan Jinyi put down her half-eaten piece of watermelon and wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. Who did you say you saw? Chen Ruoxiu, the actress who's on the hot search list alongside you. Chen Ruoxiu really has no scruples, huh? She openly followed Wang Jianhang home. There must be something fishy. Just as she was thinking about how she could join in, she heard the text message notification tone coming from her cell phone. It was a text from Li Hua. "Jinyi, I was too agitated previously. After all, it wasn't easy for us to clinch the endorsement deal for you. However, the recent news. I really had no choice but to replace you. However, it doesn't matter. I've gotten you a better one after some negotiation. It's an endorsement deal for Wang Enterprise. The endorsement fee is 500,000 yuan. I've already made arrangements. 2:30 p.m. at the Oriental Hotel, room 2202. The person in charge will be waiting for us there. Hotel. Endorsement deal for the Wang Enterprise." Yan Jinyi secretly put her cell phone away. It seemed that Li Hua and Chen Ruoxiu were in cahoots with each other. "They're setting up a trap for me, huh? I'll show you what a trap really is. I'll make sure you regret inviting me. How are your makeup skills?" Yan Jinyi asked, looking up at the maid. Not too bad. I learned how to apply makeup for over a year in the past. Do my makeup for me. I want to look really attractive. After all, it was her first time meeting so many netizens. She had to look beautiful. She took out a maroon dress from her closet and sat in front of the dressing table. The face that she now had was much prettier than her original one. Yan Jinyi patted her face and thought, I must take good care of my face. I'll put on a mask once I come back. Yes, I must get Huo Zihang to make me some skincare tonics. Although she merely had some light makeup on, Yan Jinyi looked extraordinarily gorgeous and alluring. Second young mistress, your skin is in such good condition. Actually, even if you go out without makeup, you'd be prettier than most girls. Yan Jinyi pursed her lips and touched the maid's face with a lewd smile. What's your name? The maid got a great shock because of her actions. She stammered and answered, Xiao, Xylin. Everyone calls me Xylin. Good. Follow me from now on. I promise you'll have a good life. After saying that, she whistled and left the mansion leisurely while lifting the hem of her dress. Dumbfounded, Xylin stood still, thinking to herself that Yan Jinyi was really good at flirting. She seemed to have been picked up by her second young mistress. In Oriental Hotel, Cheng Ruoxiu wrapped her arm around Wang Jianhang's affectionately and asked, Mr. Wang, I just want to accompany you first. Does it matter when you have fun with Yan Jinyi? She was wearing a sequin halter dress today, and at this moment, she was pressing her body close to Wang Jianhang and speaking to him in a coquettish voice. Wang Jianhang immediately had a reaction. Baby, are you impatient? Okay then, I'll satisfy you first. Cheng Ruoxiu looked down shyly with timidness in her eyes. Before she entered with Wang Jianhang, she turned around and winked at the woman who appeared at the end of the corridor. As soon as the two of them entered the room, Zhao Xingkan and Wang Qifeng appeared together at the elevator. Young Master Zhao and Young Master Wang, please enter. Li Hua immediately grinned and opened the door of room 2202. Zhao Xingkan looked inside the room and asked, Where's that little B*TCH, Yan Jinyi? Chapter 27. Chapter 27, Chapter 27, Your second sister-in-law is going to be violated. She's on her way here, don't worry about it. She will be at your disposal today. Wang Qifeng and Zhao Xingkan looked at each other, smiling lecherously. Let's play something exciting today. When they arrived at the entrance of the hotel, Yan Jinyi called Huo Zihang. At this moment, Huo Zihang was playing golf with some friends and it happened to be his turn. He was surrounded by a bunch of sexy girls who were cheering him on and exclaiming in joy. Third young master, your mobile phone is ringing. Wow, is a beauty asking you out, third young master? Yeah, third young master, you've been restraining yourself a lot lately. I haven't seen you coming out to have fun. Are you hiding a beauty in your home? Huo Zihang ignored his friend's teasing and grabbed his cell phone. When he saw the contact that was displayed on the screen, he subconsciously straightened his legs and put them together. I'm playing golf, don't look for me unless it's an urgent matter. After staying silent for a while, Yan Jinyi said, Your second sister-in-law is about to be violated by someone. Do you think that's an urgent matter? My second sister-in-law is about to be violated. Isn't my second sister-in-law Yan Jinyi? Huo Zihang pursed his lips and thought, what a joke. Who'd dare to tease her unless they had a death wish? However, Huo Zihang nonetheless asked solemnly, Are you serious? What do you think I called you for? Get Wang Jianhang's wife to come to the Oriental Hotel. Just tell her that there's going to be a free adult show that's going to be very interesting. After saying that, Yan Jinyi quickly hung up. Staring at his cell phone screen, Huo Zihang thought, Yan Jinyi wants me to inform Wang Jianhang's wife. Did Yan Jinyi say that she's about to be violated? How dare that shameless sponger harbor designs on my second sister-in-law? After thinking about it carefully, Huo Zihang tossed the golf club to the people beside him. You guys go ahead. Huh? It's not fun without you, third young master. Third young master. Huo Zihang was overwhelmed with panic at the moment. No, he had to call the police first. After taking her lipstick out of her bag to touch up her makeup, Yan Jinyi slowly walked towards the elevator, taking one small step at a time. The door of room 2202 was wide open, and she could vaguely hear the conversation inside. I'm coming. She smiled and entered before closing the door of the room. Bang. Inside the room, Zhao Xingkan and Wang Qifeng, who were fantasizing about the exciting scene that was about to happen in a moment, saw Yan Jinyi entering and their eyes lit up. She was indeed a beauty. She looked much prettier after dolling herself up. Yan Jinyi looked in and asked expressionlessly, Where's Li Hua? She has left to do something important. I heard that your endorsement deal has been called off. It happens that the Zhao family and the Wang family are working together on a project. If you have a few drinks with us, we'll engage you for the endorsement. How does that sound? Zhao Xingkan was sure that Yan Jinyi would compromise and agree for the sake of clinching the endorsement deal. He was seated solemnly on the single sofa with his legs crossed. The memory of him being humiliated by her at the bar was still fresh in his head now. After that incident, many people discussed and gossiped about him behind his back. He was the mighty heir of Hongyuan real estate, but she had completely embarrassed him and caused him to lose his dignity. He had to get his pride back today. He had to make her kowtow to him and beg for forgiveness. Is the project you're collaborating on very impressive? Can it make me become an A-list star? Yan Jinyi asked with curiosity. Of course. Who am I? As long as you serve us well, we can let you win the Best Actress award, not to mention become an A-list star. At this moment, Wang Kefeng handed her a glass of red wine. This is superior grade red wine that's priceless. Once you drink it, our grudges will be settled, and the endorsement will be yours. How does that sound? Yan Jinyi was keeping a straight face while staring at the glass of red wine. Zhao Xingkan and Wang Kefeng broke out in cold sweat. After all, he had experienced the wrath of Yan Jinyi and was afraid that she might be able to tell that something was fishy. Chapter 28. Chapter 28, Chapter 28, haven't been a bandit for years. After a long time, Yan Jinyi smiled and said in a crisp and pleasant voice, sure, I'd like to try this wine and see how great it is. After saying that, she grabbed the wine glass and took a sip. Squinting as she reminisced about the taste, she remarked, not bad. Seeing that she had drunk it, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief. If it's inferior, we would be embarrassed to take it out and let you drink it. Wang Kefeng glanced at Yan Jinyi and gave her a thumbs up. If we can reach an agreement joyously today, we'll give you a remuneration of 1 million yuan. 1 million may be peanuts to first-tier and second-tier stars, but for a newbie like Yan Jinyi, who had just gained a little bit of fame in the entertainment industry, it was a staggering sum of money. He refused to believe that she wouldn't be tempted. That's quite a lot of money, Yan Jinyi said with a nod. She pulled out a few pieces of tissue paper and said, excuse me, I have to use the bathroom. Zhao Xingkan and Wang Kefeng did not stop her. Wang Kefeng knew how his brother and Chen Ruoxiu were going to deal with Yan Jinyi. Initially, he found it a pity that a hot and angsty beauty like Yan Jinyi would be tarred by Wang Jianhang, but surprisingly, Li Hua suddenly called him. She said that she had heard about him getting beaten up by Yan Jinyi and that she had a way to make Yan Jinyi become his. Of course, he gladly agreed and headed to the hotel, only to find that Zhao Xingkan was also there. He had a good relationship with Zhao Xingkan, and the two of them had toyed with the same woman before. Hey, she has just taken a sip of the wine. Will it be ineffective? Impossible. How can I let her have any chance of escaping? As soon as Yan Jinyi closed the door of the bathroom, she immediately rushed to the sink to spit out the red wine that she contained in her mouth. She then rinsed her mouth and heaved a sigh of relief. Ha! If I can't see through such dirty tricks and tell the hidden meaning behind their words, wouldn't I have been a bandit leader in vain for so many years? Seeing that Yan Jinyi was taking a long time in the bathroom, Zhao Xingkan and Wang Kefeng, who were in the room, began to panic. What's going on? Did she discover something and is too scared to come out? Anyway, she's already drunk the wine and she's in this room. How can she escape? Zhao Xingkan smiled hideously. Don't worry, that woman is now free for us to slaughter. Let's make things clear beforehand. I'm going first. Wang Kefeng exclaimed. Zhao Xingkan frowned and said in displeasure, I'm the one who prepared the wine. I should go first. Don't forget. Without my brother who helped to convince Yan Jinyi's manager, we couldn't have done this so smoothly. Suddenly, the bathroom door was pushed open and Yan Jinyi stumbled out. Her fair cheeks were flushed, and her starry eyes were glistening with tears. While walking, she tugged her dress and pouted. It's so warm. Strange, why is it getting so hot in here all of a sudden? Seeing that, the two of them immediately grinned widely. Wang Kefeng rubbed his hands and said, it's warm, isn't it? Kman, take off your clothes. Once you do, you won't feel warm anymore. Zhao Xingkan nodded and chimed in, it'll be cooler if you take your clothes off. Yan Jinyi burped and exclaimed, why must I take them off? You guys should too. Okay, we'll take off our clothes too. Once they had stripped down to their briefs, Yan Jinyi suddenly lifted her foot and kicked Wang Kefeng's buttocks. Just because I'm not a bandit anymore doesn't mean I'm a pushover. You've got such a lousy figure and you're harboring thoughts about me. She then reached out to grab the hem of Zhao Xingkan's pants to throw him over her shoulder. The sounds of fabric tearing could be heard. His briefs were ripped apart, and Zhao Xingkan was slammed against the ground forcefully with a loud thud. You're not just asking for a beating. You're asking for death. Since you like thrills so much, I'll give you a thrilling time. With her bare hands, Yan Jinyi tore the bed sheets in half and tied the two of them together while they watched in shock. She then forced them to down a mouthful of wine each. I'll come back to deal with you later. Chapter 29. Chapter 29, Chapter 29, Loving each other intensely. Yan Jinyi opened the door of the room, and as soon as she walked out, she saw more than a dozen reporters swarming out of the elevator. Those reporters probably did not expect to see Yan Jinyi there. They froze in shock, and before they even realized what was going on, Yan Jinyi had already snatched away a camera that belonged to one of the reporters, and slung it on her shoulder. Dumbfounded, the reporter looked at his empty hands. "Follow me, I'll give you guys free headlines today." Yan Jingyi shouted and strode towards room 2203. She raised her foot and kicked the door hard. The heavy door was kicked open and an ambiguous aura of romance filled the air. Yan Jinyi stood at the door, carrying a camera with both hands and staring wide-eyed at the scene inside the room with a frightened expression. The reporters who followed behind her quickly approached. "Damn. This scene is really exciting." Chen Ruoxiu was leaning against the wall with Wang Jianhang in front of her, covered in sweat. They were looking at each other with affection. The reporters were not stupid and naturally understood what was going on in the room. Chen Ruoxiu and Wang Jianhang obviously did not expect that sudden situation either. Both startled and dumbfounded, they stared at the door. What's going on? Shouldn't Yan Jinyi be getting toyed with by Zhao Xingkan and Wang Qifen next door? Why would she be here? And those reporters? For a moment, Chen Ruoxiu wanted to die. Wang Jianhang also snapped back to his senses and he frantically placed his hand on his private area to cover it. What are you people doing? You don't want to make a living in Shenyang anymore, huh? Wang Jianhang was known for his ruthlessness. The group of reporters was a little scared, but Yan Jinyi swaggered in fearlessly. She placed the camera on the table and said, but I did not expect Mr. Wang and Chen Ruoxiu to be so deeply in love. He'd rather risk cheating on his spouse than miss the chance to have a steamy and romantic rendezvous with her here. Why are you here? Wang Jianhang's face was gloomy. With the Wang family's current status, he was certain that he could keep the mouths of those reporters shut, but Yan Jinyi was a huge problem for him. Since he found out that Yan Jinyi had the guts to beat up Huo Zihang and Zhao Xingkan, he wasn't sure what other shocking things this woman would do. Shouldn't she be in the room next door? Why is she suddenly here? Yan Jinyi whistled roguishly and glanced at Chen Ruoxiu who wished she could rip Yan Jinyi apart. She looked at Wang Jianhang again. No wonder Miss Chen isn't impressed with Huo Zihang. Although Mr. Wang is older, Huo Zihang really can't compare to his toned muscles. Tisk, she shook her head and continued, I bet he's better in bed than Huo Zihang too. Huo Zihang, who had just rushed to the door, happened to hear her words. I'm mighty, fierce, and strong. How can that sponger Wang Jianhang be compared to me? Yan Jinyi had insulted him again. In the room, Yan Jinyi unwrapped some chewing gum on the table and popped it into her mouth. After chewing it a few times, she spat it at Wang Jianhang's foot. Pointing at the hesitant reporters at the door, she asked, Hey, this is such good news. Why are you guys being so reserved instead of taking pictures? The reporters looked at each other. Most of them were somewhat scared because they had heard of Wang Jianhang's ruthless means. Since you don't want to take photos, I'll go ahead. Yan Jinyi picked up the camera again. Mr. Wang, hurry and stop her. Stop that shameless B*TCH. Chapter 30. Chapter 30, Chapter 30, cheapest in the universe. Yan Jinyi first pointed to the reporter in front and said, if you don't want to be beaten up, you'd better take as many photos you can. It's best if you just record a video of it. The reporters wiped the sweat on his forehead. After seeing Yan Jinyi in person, he realized that Yan Jinyi was indeed very violent. After giving those instructions, Yan Jinyi picked up the red wine on the table and poured it on Chen Ruoxiu. Who can be cheaper than you? You're the most shameless and cheapest B*TCH in the universe. She was usually kind towards beautiful girls, but she hated Chen Ruoxiu and liked attacking her. So what if you're pretty? You think I won't dare to hit you just because you're pretty? For the first time in 2 lifetimes, Yan Jinyi faced public criticism because of a woman's malicious comments. The more she thought about it, the more infuriated she was. Yan Jinyi rushed over and pulled Chen Ruoxiu towards her by her ankle. She then raised her hand to slap her. You really think I don't know the disgusting things that you and Li Hua are up to? You're having quite a bit of fun hiring netizens to slam me, aren't you? If you like being a pretentious B*TCH so much, I'll let you pretend all you want. As she spoke, Yan Jinyi took out her cell phone and started taking several photos of Chen Ruoxiu before posting them onto Weibo. Her caption was I'm so happy today, I beat Chen Ruoxiu up brutally again. If you're not happy, come challenge me. There was soon a huge uproar on Weibo. Damn it, what's going on? Why does it seem like Chen Ruoxiu is naked? Did that background actress remove her clothes? Yan Jinyi, you disgusting and despicable woman. How dare you bully our Ruoxiu and take such photos of her? Just you wait, the police will come to arrest you. Oh my god. What happened to Goddess Ruoxiu? May an expert find Ruoxiu's current location? I suspect that Yan Jinyi has kidnapped Ruoxiu. You're going to die a horrid death. Let go of my Ruoxiu, you're worse than a beast. There were various angry comments that were targeted at her. Yan Jinyi took a few glances at it before putting her cell phone aside. Chen Ruoxiu was completely shocked by her domineering aura, and even Wang Jianhang was shivering as he stood at the side. Having lived for half a lifetime, it was his first time seeing such a vulgar and ferocious woman. He even regretted devising a scheme against Yan Jinyi. Yan Jinyi barked hostilely at the door, "Huo Zihang, get your ass out here. Are you asking for a beating?" Huo Zihang, who was eavesdropping outside the door, shivered. He had already begun to genuinely feel afraid of Yan Jinyi. He strode in and said with a flattering smile, "I'm waiting for Mrs. Wang." Mrs. Wang. Wang Jianhang was stunned, and when he saw Huo Zihang looking at him gloatingly, he had an ominous hunch. Wearing a bathrobe, he got ready to dash out, but at this moment, the crisp and clear sounds of stilettos knocking against the ground sounded just in time. When Han Yufang received Huo Zihang's call, she thought that her brother-in-law had gotten into trouble again. She only sensed that something was amiss when she saw a bunch of reporters after coming out of the elevator. Soon, she heard Wang Jianhang's voice coming from inside the room, and she strode over to take a look, after which her expression changed. "Wang Jianhang, what are you doing here?" Wang Jianhang's legs turned weak when he saw Han Yufang. Although he was a womanizer with many mistresses in private, he was actually henpecked and had no dignity at home at all. When Han Yufang was younger, she had practiced taekwondo for years and would really beat someone up once she was enraged. Looking at Wang Jianhang who was dressed in nothing but a bathrobe, followed by Chen Ruoxiu who was on the bed, Han Yufang immediately understood what happened. Actually, she had always known about Wang Jianhang's kept mistresses, but for the sake of her children and in order to prove to her parents that she did not choose the wrong person to marry, she deliberately turned a blind eye to it. But now. Chapter 31. Chapter 31, Chapter 31, Maybe I'm too pretty. Honey, let me explain, she seduced me first. Wang Jianhang panicked and hurried over to grab Han Yufang's arm. He continued trying to explain. Chen Ruoxiu seduced me. Honey, you must trust me. I love you. Chen Ruoxiu looked at Wang Jianhang in disbelief. Just a moment ago, he said that he would divorce his wife when he found the opportunity and let her become his rightful wife. Yet, he started to frame her and turn the tables. Chen Ruoxiu was so angry that her eyes were red. Not bothered by the fact that she was not wearing anything at the moment, she directly lifted the duvet and rushed over. Wang Jianhang, you'll die a horrible death. You clearly tried everything to win my heart because I'm pretty. Wang Jianhang pushed Chen Ruoxiu away with a look of disgust and retorted, "You're just an actress who has been toyed with by many guys while I'm the owner of Wang Group. Why would I fall for a filthy woman like you? Had you not seduced me, would I have been muddled up?" After saying that, he looked at Han Yufang and tried to please her. "Honey, you have to believe me, I am sincerely devoted to you. You must keep this matter under wraps. Otherwise, both the Wang and Han families, as well as our son, will be affected." Han Yufang began to hesitate again after hearing his words. Chen Ruoxiu's face was as red as a tomato because of how infuriated she was. Glowering at Wang Jianhang with fury, she slapped him hard on his face. "Wang Jianhang, you are not a man at all. Besides me, you still wanted to bed Yan Jinyi. Why would Yan Jinyi appear here? It's all because you colluded with her manager to set her up. Bullshit, you clearly bore a grudge because of the relationship between Yan Jinyi and third young master Huo. You instigated me to deal with Yan Jinyi. You shameless bitch, how dare you turn the tables? You don't want to continue surviving in Shenyang anymore, do you?" Chen Ruoxiu craned her neck but she was more afraid of Wang Jianhang's wife than Wang Jianhang. Han Yufang was a top figure among the social circle of the wives of wealthy men. She was born with a golden spoon in her mouth and she had ruthless means too. She would rather offend Wang Jianhang than provoke Han Yufang. Mrs. Wang, you must believe me, I am just an actress. Wang Jianhang threatened me to be with him, or he would make my company boycott me. I had no choice either." As she spoke, Chen Ruoxiu displayed the best acting skills that she had honed throughout the years of being in the entertainment industry. She slumped onto the ground and began wailing loudly. Seeing that there was such an interesting show before them, the surrounding reporters were no longer bothered about the possible destruction of their livelihoods. This matter would definitely go viral if they could get any juice details. It might stay in the hot search list for 2 weeks. "Honey, don't listen to her nonsense." Han Yufang frowned and looked at Wang Jianhang. Just as she was about to speak, she heard Yan Jinyi's cold and indifferent voice. "He's just a man. You can always look for another one. Madam Han, given your status, you can definitely find someone better than Wang Jianhang." Yan Jinyi addressed her as Madam Han instead of Mrs. Wang. Han Yufang was slightly shocked and finally noticed Yan Jinyi's presence. She frowned and looked at her warily. "Who are you?" She continued, "I'm the victim of this incident. Maybe because I'm too pretty, Both your husband and brother-in-law wanted to make me theirs. Yan Jinyi was extremely thick-skinned. Huo Zihang was speechless. Please don't say that you're my second sister-in-law. Han Yufang remembered Chen Ruoxiu mentioning Yan Jinyi's name too. Oh, by the way, don't focus all your attention here. Something that's probably more exciting than this is happening next door now. Yan Jinyi winked and took the lead to walk out of the room. The group of people followed her. As soon as they opened the door, they saw two topless men who were tied together, facing each other and rubbing against each other. Chapter 32. Chapter 32, Chapter 32, I suspect you guys are getting up to something. Everyone was very familiar with who they were. They were the famous gentries of Shenyang, Wang Qifeng, and Zhao Xingkan. However, the two hadn't noticed the movement at the door and were still rubbing against each other. Wang Qifeng, take my pants off for me. Don't you have your own hands? That bitch Yan Jinyi better pray that I don't catch her. The reporters could even imagine how groundbreaking the news would be after it was published. They didn't expect the heir of Hong Yuan Real Estate and Wang Jianhang's younger brother to be in such a relationship. Yan Jinyi took a photo of the two of them with her mobile phone before walking over slowly in a relaxed manner. As soon as he heard Yan Jinyi's voice, Wang Qifeng turned his head in exasperation and looked at the crowded door. Brother? Sister-in-law. Wang Jianhang's face was pale, and he glared at Wang Qifeng whom he had expected better from. Han Yufang was completely embarrassed. Never in the decades of her life had she ever experienced something as exciting as this. Firstly, she caught her husband red-handed cheating on her, and now, she discovered that her brother-in-law was getting intimate with another man. Her chest moved up and she finally couldn't help but turn around to slap Wang Jianhang. If the Han family is ruined because of you brothers, I won't let you have a good time even if I have to fight with my life. Wang Jianhang clenched his fists tightly to suppress his anger. Appearing extremely infuriated, he pointed at Chen Ruoxiu who was following the crowd. It must be her. She asked Qifeng and Zhao Xingkan to come over. Wang Jianhang, are you still a man? You were the one who brought the drug to spike Yan Jinyi's drink. You and your brother are just the same. As she spoke, Chen Ruoxiu cried again and exclaimed. You must believe me, Mrs. Wang. I'm really innocent. I am a weak woman without no power and influence. How can I deal with Mr. Wang? Wang Qifeng and Zhao Xingkan struggled with all their might, knowing that they had been misunderstood. That bitch Yan Jinyi kidnapped us. There's nothing between us. Yes, brother, we must deal with Yan Jinyi. Good that the reporters are here. Hurry and spread the news so everyone will know how vicious this woman is. The two obviously still don't know what had just happened next door and were bossing the reporters around. I didn't even say anything yet, you fools. Who are you to speak? Seeing that they were maligning Yan Jinyi again, Huo Zihang flew into a rage and glared at all of them viciously with his eyes wide open. Huo Zihang, are you a masochist? You got beaten up terribly by Yan Jinyi and now you're standing up for her. When did the Huo family degenerate to the point that you're afraid of even a trivial celebrity? Wang Qifeng couldn't help but mock him sarcastically. Huo Zihang was about to retort but Yan Jinyi coughed and walked towards the two of them smilingly. She squatted down and supported her face with one hand. I really suspect that you guys are running a prostitution ring with Wang Jianhang and Chen Ruoxiu. I have evidence too. You. Shut up, I haven't finished talking, Yan Jinyi immediately reprimanded. She then turned her head to look at Huo Zihang. Call the police and tell them that these people here are engaged in illegal activities. 3 men and a woman. Huo Zihang felt that he had great foresight. I've already done that. Call them again. In her era, those who were arrested would be beaten to death by a rod. Honey, quickly stop him. If I go to the police station, both our families will be embarrassed. By then, our son. Wang Jianhang immediately turned his head to look at Han Yufang and pleaded with her. Han Yufang frowned and looked at Yan Jinyi with a sullen expression. Madam, I think. Sorry, I'm only 22 years old, please call me Miss Yan or Miss. You can call me pretty girl too, Yan Jinyi interrupted. She continued with a tone of displeasure, he's just a toy poodle. Mrs. Han, is it necessary to fight with the Huo family for him? Chapter 33. Chapter 33, Chapter 33, Being a Pimp. Toy Poodle. Huo Zihang looked at Wang Jianhang and sneered, toy poodles are much cuter than him. Don't insult toy poodles. Yan Jinyi looked up and nodded. You're right. Wang Jianhang's face turned extremely sullen and he glowered at Yan Jinyi while gritting his teeth. Don't you let me catch you, woman. Or else, you'll die. No matter what, he's my husband. Don't go overboard. How much money do you want? Name your price. As she spoke, Han Yufang turned around to look at the reporters behind her. I can pay for the photos that you've taken of him. How does 1 million yuan for each of you sound? 1 million yuan. The reporters were tempted. Wang Jianhang may be buff and good in bed, but what other qualities does he have? Yan Jinyi sneered and sized Wang Jianhang up openly. He's not that handsome either. His temples are dark and his eye sockets are greenish. He obviously brings bad luck to his wife. Do you like him because he's good in bed or because he's great at making money? Han Yufang's face was flushed after hearing those words. Yan Jinyi drank a mouthful of water and said, if it's because he's good in bed, you can definitely find some young and energetic models with your money and family's power. If you're after his money, there's no point. Didn't he start making money only after relying on the Han family? The reporters and Huo Zihang were dumbfounded after hearing her words. Even Wang Qifeng and Zhao Xingkan, who wished they could skin Yan Jinyi alive, couldn't help but secretly give her a thumbs up. Impressive. This bandit-like woman is really something. She's got a sharp tongue and she's good at fighting too. Damn it, why did we run into such a pervert? As a woman, I really despise you. Yan Jinyi stopped smiling and looked at Han Yufang with disdain. Don't they always say that women of the 21st century are focused on being independent from men? Why does it seem like you can't live without a man? If he's an outstanding man, it'd be fine. However, he's a piece of garbage who can't even keep his member in his pants. Aren't you afraid of getting STDs? You caught your husband cheating on you, and you can still forgive him. I really take my hat off to you. Yan Jinyi began applauding. Han Yufang clenched her fists. She knew that she ought not to forgive him, but she had too many concerns. Don't say that it's for the sake of your son. If you don't want your son to turn out to become a scum like him, quickly divorce him. If I were your son, I'd be the first to kill him. Cheng Ruoxiu is disgusting. If your man could control his member that's the size of a needle, do you think Cheng Ruoxiu would still let him toy with her? Such crude words. Cheng Ruoxiu and Wang Jianhang glowered at Yan Jinyi viciously. They were so infuriated that they were trembling uncontrollably. Wang Qifeng and Zhao Xingkan silently moved towards the corner of the wall, feeling thankful that their plan did not succeed. Who could tolerate such a woman? Finally, a few policemen in plain clothes appeared in the corridor. Pointing at the four of them, Yan Jinyi said, there's also another person named Li Hua who's acting like a pimp. Take all of them away. You're welcome. Just send me a banner to commend me. Honey. Wang Jianhang felt a little flustered. At this moment, Han Yufang began to carefully consider Yan Jinyi's words. Although she was extremely crude and callous with her words, she had to admit that Yan Jinyi did make sense. Madam Han, life is short and raising a dog is better than raising an ingrate. If you refuse to believe me, go back and check up on it. I dare to bet on Huo Zihang's life that this piece of garbage has already begun coveting your family's assets and empire. Huo Zihang glowered at her. Why did you bet on my life? After a moment of silence, Han Yufang asked, what's your relationship with third young master Huo? Chapter 34. Chapter 34, Chapter 34, there will always be fools that try to seek attention. She's my second. I'm the only woman he has ever idolized in the 20-odd years of his life. Yan Jinyi said arrogantly. Huo Zihang rolled his eyes but soon chose to shut up. Looking at the two of them, Han Yufang felt that they had an extraordinary relationship. In fact, she had always suspected that Wang Jianhang wanted to deal with the Han family, but she used to dismiss her thoughts about that matter by giving herself excuses. Perhaps it was time for her to let go. Han Yufang was born into a wealthy family and a divorce was no big deal. Police officers, what are you guys waiting for? I seriously suspect that these crooks have used some stimulants or dope. If you don't believe me, make them finish that bottle of red wine. The police looked at Huo Zihang and Han Yufang. Seeing that the two of them had nodded, he brought Wang Jianhang and the others away. Dear reporters, you've worked hard. Let me treat you guys to Australian crawfish. Because of a random Weibo update that was posted by Yan Jinyi, her Weibo account was exposed, and she attracted countless haters. Now, everyone on the internet was worried about Cheng Ruoxiu's safety, and many people in Shenyang had even spontaneously gone to Cheng Ruoxiu's house. I'm dying of anxiety. Are there still no news of Ruoxiu? This despicable piece of garbage Yan Jinyi must be an orphan. I have a strong feeling that this matter is not simple and Cheng Ruoxiu is not a good person. Anyway, I am neutral. The person above, were you born from the same mother as that orphan Yan Jinyi? I hope you're the next person whom Yan Jinyi abducts and takes such photos of. There are always fools who are out to seek attention. Even a malicious background actress like Yan Jinyi has fans. I'm shocked. She calls herself a bandit leader. How haughty is this woman? Does she really think she has a bunch of underlings like a true leader of bandits? How dare she harbor designs on my third young master Huo? Get lost. Yan Jinyi leaned against the seat of the car while Huo Zihang read out every popular comment to her. Hey, do you need me to help you? Our company's PR department is the best in the industry. So I'm an artiste under your company? What a surprise. Yan Jinyi said with sarcasm. Huo Zixing immediately shut up. As the CEO of TG Entertainment, he, of course, knew how many pathetic resources the company had given to Yan Jinyi. However, he also said that he would find her a new agent afterwards. She was the one who refused. You're not angry? This person scolded you so terribly. Surely you're not thinking of quietly committing suicide later, right? Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes at him. Do I look like I'd commit suicide? I had a hard time queuing up for 500 years. I would be out of my mind if I take my own life. Even if your entire family and yourself commit suicide, I still wouldn't. Originally, the people on Weibo were still trying to launch a boycott against Yan Jinyi, but in the end, a piece of news was suddenly planted in the hot search list. Chen Ruoxiu is suspected to be taken to the police station. Soon, the comments section was flooded with comments. Thank God the police found our Ruoxiu. Ruoxiu isn't hurt, is she? Where's that B*TCH Yan Jinyi? Fortunately, she's alright. I hope the police can find a good psychologist to look at Ruoxiu. I request that Yan Jinyi be sent to jail. Yan Jinyi has committed abduction. She'd be put behind bars for at least a few years, right? My poor Ruoxiu, my heart is broken. One by one, they began to wail for Chen Ruoxiu as if she was their mother who had passed on. In the end, within 10 minutes, 2 more hot searches popped up. Chen Ruoxiu and Wang Jianhang were involved in a foursome. Chen Ruoxiu is suspected to have taken some dope. The netizens were dumbfounded. Chapter 35. Chapter 35, Chapter 35, she's about to develop her career. *T, what's going on, please let me process this. Does foursome refer to the foursome I'm thinking about? Please pay attention to the word four. There are 2 more people involved. Chen Ruoxiu is really something. I'm impressed. She's really impressive. Someone's fans were still clamoring just now. You must be shocked, huh? Chen Ruoxiu was arrested and brought to the police station. Ha ha ha, do you want them to hire a psychologist to give her psychological counseling in prison? My mother is so wise and good at judging people. She said that Chen Ruoxiu was a pretentious girl as soon as she saw her. Someone's brainless fans, have you finally had a taste of calamity? Whenever Chen Ruoxiu worked with a hunk, she would tie them to her. How annoying. Previously, Chen Ruoxiu's haters had been remaining silent. Now that Chen Ruoxiu had been arrested, all the netizens who had been bullied by Chen Ruoxiu's fans in the past felt extremely confident as they started a keyboard war. Huo Zihang was extremely excited as well. He logged into his main account and began retweeting. 1 in a million third young master Huo, bye, have fun in there. Huo Zihang was a famous figure in Shenyang and the entire nation. He was handsome, wealthy, and would change his girlfriend regularly. Besides, he was also the CEO of TG Entertainment, and half of the actresses of the entertainment industry were following him on Weibo. Naturally, his Weibo followers also increased and he was even comparable to first-tier celebrities. As soon as he posted that update, his post garnered a massive number of comments. Isn't Chen Ruoxiu the ex-girlfriend of third young master Huo? Third young master, aren't you being too merciless? They've already said that she's his suspected girlfriend. Chen Ruoxiu has always been branding herself as an innocent and chaste woman. Third young master likes sultry and sexy women. He probably wouldn't fall for her. That's right. Third young master, look at me. When will I have the chance to be your girlfriend? Huo Zihang looked at the comments section and waved his mobile phone in front of Yan Jinyi. Do you see that? That's my charm. He's crazy. Finally, the day was about to pass. The news about Yan Jinyi hit the hot search list at 12 midnight. The reason why Yan Jinyi hates Chen Ruoxiu. It was posted by a famous account on Weibo. The user posted all the photos of Chen Ruoxiu and Yan Jinyi, from when they were filming the drama to when they were in Oriental Hotel. Chen Ruoxiu's nasty behavior, the way she bullied others and humiliated Yan Jinyi, as well as how Yan Jinyi retaliated, beat up Wang Qifeng, and was betrayed by her manager who colluded with Chen Ruoxiu, were all exposed. In short, Yan Jinyi was portrayed as a poor girl who refused to give up because she persevered for her dreams but ended up having her reputation ruined by Chen Ruoxiu. On the other hand, Chen Ruoxiu was portrayed as the ultimate villain, a pretentious B*TCH who was similar to the hypocritical girls in novels who often acted pitiful. Yan Jinyi, I'm sorry to have misunderstood you. I used to be Chen Ruoxiu's fan but I've stopped paying attention to her now. I've decided to follow Yan Jinyi. I don't have a good impression of Yan Jinyi but she's really pitiful. I like hot-tempered girls like Yan Jinyi, don't you guys think she's really cool? I'm really looking forward to seeing your new work. Chen Ruoxiu's reputation was completely ruined and she even got into a fight with Wang Jianhang in prison. Zhao Xingkan was released on bail by his family, and rumor had it that he knelt in front of the police station in a particularly exaggerated manner, swearing to the heavens that he would never mess with Yan Jinyi in his life. Hence, Yan Jinyi made it to the hot search list again. In summer, rainfall often happened without warning. The dark clouds enveloped the sky of Shenyang. Amidst the downpour, there was finally a moment of peace in the bustling and prosperous city. Yan Jinyi was nestled on the sofa with a stack of scripts in her arms. She was going to start developing her career. Chapter 36. Chapter 36, Chapter 36, Second brother won't divorce her, will he? You've read so many scripts. Could you have been part of the cast without my help? Huo Zihang made his way downstairs slovenly with a cigarette in his mouth. If you have that much time, go hit on some girls. Stop being such an eyesore. Yan Jinyi was too lazy to even look at him. Instead, she was reading her scripts attentively. They were indeed all good storylines that were produced by renowned directors. However, such dramas were not suitable for her now. She still had some self-awareness to know that, and most importantly, she did not like any of them. She closed the book of scripts and curled her finger at Huo Zihang. Huo Zihang subconsciously looked at the feather duster that was left on the coffee table and took a few steps back. What are you trying to do? Seeing that he was acting like a timid woman, Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrow and asked, come here and sit down. I'm not going to eat you up. He did not know if she would eat him up, but he knew that she'd definitely be able to beat him up. Ever since Yan Jinyi's personality changed drastically, he was almost tortured to the point of having a mental breakdown. For the past few days, Huo Zihang had been constantly looking forward to his siblings' return as he couldn't stand Yan Jinyi at all. She might have asked me to go hit on girls, but if I were to really go? Huo Zihang shivered and said, what's the matter? Just tell me straight. I'm going to meet my friends for basketball. Yan Jinyi was in high spirits and could not be bothered to make things hard for him either. I want to star in a drama that I like. Other than finding one with a suitable storyline, is there a way to land me a role that the audience won't hate? Yan Jinyi is scared that others will hate her. Oh my god, others would feel thankful if she doesn't roll her eyes at them. Are you deaf? I like the husky that the security guards at the opposite mansion are rearing. The main thing is that huskies have sensitive ears. Why don't I cut them off and replace your ears with them? Huo Zihang subconsciously shuddered and at the thought of having 2 dog ears. Invest in the drama yourself and you can be the boss who calls the shots. However, with folded arms, Huo Zihang asked conceitedly and condescendingly, do you have any money to invest? Actually, you can look for me, I have a considerable amount of savings. I may not have any money but your second brother does, doesn't he? Yan Jinyi said smilingly. Seriously? Is Yan Jinyi really intending to invest some money herself? Is she going to use second brother's money too? Didn't you have a strong backbone before and you vowed to never use second brother's money? Have you forgotten what you said so quickly? Yan Jinyi did not get angry either and instead just stared at Huo Zihang straight in the eye. After a long time, she said, how can you trust a woman's words? Once you take them seriously, you won't even know how you die. It's none of your business anymore. Don't be an eyesore here. Seeing her pick up her wallet and pull out a black card as if no one was beside her, Huo Zihang twitched the corners of his lips and said, actually, you can really use my money, I won't ask you to return it. Second brother doesn't like her in the first place. What if she invests a large sum of money into a movie or drama and ends up incurring losses? Wouldn't he hate her even more? Will second brother divorce her because of this? At the thought of Yan Jinyi having to leave the Huo family once she divorced Huo Zishan, Huo Zihang suddenly felt flustered. Oh dear, I must have gotten used to being abused by Yan Jinyi. I actually can't bear to let such a vicious woman go. As soon as Huo Zihang left his house, he immediately took out his cell phone. A Chinese man was shuttling through the crowd in the gilded and opulent main hall. He was wearing a neatly trimmed and immaculate black suit with both hands in his pockets. He had long legs and he would attract the attention of the surrounding people with every step he took. The dazzling light shone on his short, black hair and formed a faint shadow below his high and taut nose bridge. That Chinese man is really dashing. Oh my god. He's so handsome, I'm willing to change my nationality for him. Chapter 37. Chapter 37, Chapter 37, Miss Huo has returned. Mr. Huo, welcome. A foreign man with blonde hair and blue eyes greeted him in fluent Chinese and extended his hand with great enthusiasm. Huo Zishan shook it lightly, and his smile was a bit aloof. Hello, Mr. Stephen. At this moment, his assistant suddenly came over with the cell phone. Mr. Huo, you have a call from third young master. Huo Zihang again. Huo Zishan grabbed the cell phone. Second brother, your wife is being a wastrel. She wants to invest your money in the production of a movie. What does that simple-minded Yan Jinyi, who has brawn but no brains, know about investing? Second brother, hurry up and freeze her card. Before Huo Zishan even spoke, Huo Zihang started speaking. Are you very free? Huo Zihang did not expect Huo Zishan to ask him that question. After being stunned for a moment, he said, no, I'm meeting my friends for basketball. Don't mingle with those indecent people all the time, it'll affect your IQ. After saying that, Huo Zishan hung up. Seated in the car, Huo Zihang stared wide-eyed at his phone screen. No, second brother, you must prepare yourself mentally. If the investment flops, don't get too agitated and divorce her. That's not right. If second brother divorces her, wouldn't she be single again? He suddenly hoped for them to get a divorce. Yan Jinyi found many examples of successful investments in movies and television dramas. The more she looked at them, the more tempted she was. Anyway, Huo Zishan has given me a supplementary card, and it's only going to go to waste if I don't use it. I must get some money out of this before I get divorced. Just as she was fretting over how she could find a satisfactory script, she heard the sounds of the wheels of a suitcase rolling on the ground. She moved her eyebrows and looked at the source of the noise. It was a young woman who was dressed fashionably. She was wearing a black spaghetti strap top and denim shorts with a checkered shirt tied loosely around her waist. Her long hair was dyed an eye-catching maroon color and it was draped messily on her shoulders. Sensing Yan Jinyi's presence, the young girl simply pushed her sunglasses up her nose bridge and made her way upstairs with her luggage, not bothering to greet Yan Jinyi at all. Huo Qingyuan. Very arrogant indeed. Seeing that Huo Qingyuan was about to go upstairs, Yan Jinyi suddenly said in a low voice, hold it right there. After removing her sunglasses, Huo Qingyuan looked at Yan Jinyi who was staring at her with a straight face. She said with a derisive smile, I was wondering who it was. You sound really haughty, huh? Are you Huo Qingyuan? Yan Jinyi asked after clearing the dirt in her fingernails. Why are you being so strange and sarcastic today? Huo Qingyuan turned around with a frown and questioned in displeasure, not expecting Yan Jinyi to have such an attitude. The Huo family is a wealthy and famous family after all. You should be a qualified socialite too, but why do you seem like an uncultured, wild brat? Yan Jinyi, what do you mean? Did you beat around the bush to call me a wild brat? Yan Jinyi blinked and asked with an apprehensive expression, are you not one? Are you really the Huo family's daughter? How come you don't know how to greet me, your second sister-in-law? Greet. Huo Qingyuan sneered, are you worthy of my greeting? If it wasn't for the fact that my grandfather was muddled up and made an agreement with you, do you think a woman of your status would be worthy of marrying into the Huo family? Yan Jinyi suddenly sprung up and walked over with folded arms. Huo Qingyuan somehow felt a cold chill down her spine when she saw the mysterious smile on Yan Jinyi's face. Are you going to beat me up? Sensing that she had been frightened by Yan Jinyi, Huo Qingyuan felt a little frustrated. She let go of her suitcase and placed both hands on her waist as she made eye contact with Yan Jinyi. Yan Jinyi suddenly burst into laughter but her smile faded another second later. With an austere gaze, she kicked the suitcase and made it roll down the staircase. Clang. Chapter 38. Chapter 38, Chapter 38, Second young mistress is hot-tempered. Hearing the sound of glass breaking, Huo Qingyuan shrieked in agitation and glared at Yan Jinyi with hatred in her eyes. Yan Jinyi, you mad woman, what are you doing? That suitcase contains my custom-made skincare products that are worth millions of yuan. Can a poor miser like you afford to pay for it? Even the best cosmetic products can't change the ugliness under your skin, Yan Jinyi chastised, revealing her domineering aura. She made her way up the staircase and looked down at Huo Qingyuan from above. Since I'm still the second young mistress of the Huo family, it's my duty to clean up those scums that will damage the pride of the family. Scums. This woman called me a scum. Huo Qingyuan's delicate face was red with anger, and her knuckles popped loudly when she clenched her fists. When I get into a fight, even men will fear me. Don't think that I won't dare to hit you just because you're my brother's wife. Yan Jinyi laughed out loud as if she had heard the greatest joke ever. Staring at Huo Qingyuan with disdain in her eyes, she said, you're already such a wayward brat at the age of 19. What's going to become of you when you get older? She then stared at the butler who was standing outside the door because he did not dare to enter. Uncle Zhang, supervise Huo Qingyuan and make her copy the admonitions for women 10 times. She won't get to eat until she finishes copying them. The butler immediately nodded. Staring wide-eyed at the butler who was walking towards her, Huo Qingyuan looked at Yan Jinyi who was humming a tune while making her way upstairs. Uncle Zhang, who's the master of this family? Fearing that Huo Qingyuan would anger young mistress further, the butler hurriedly tugged Huo Qingyuan's shirt and said, Miss Huo, just copy them since second young mistress wants you to. Listen to me, or else you will be the one losing out. The housekeeper said while pushing Huo Qingyuan towards the study. He even thoughtfully prepared some paper and a pen for her, after which he used the computer to find the original text of the admonitions for women. There are still more than 2 hours before dinner time. Copying it 10 times is not much. If you focus on doing it, you will finish it soon. Zhang Qiuquan had been the Huo family's butler for more than 20 years and he was an authoritative and impartial butler who had been keeping everything in order. Why did he suddenly? Uncle Zhang, are you being threatened by Yan Jinyi? How did she threaten you? Let me know and I'll help you take revenge. Yan Jinyi respected the elderly and doted on children. However, she was hot-tempered and was really unbearable because she would hit others all the time. Holding onto the paper and pen with trembling hands, Zhang Qiuquan said, "Second young mistress is quite a nice person. Just do what she tells you to. Since she wants you to copy this, do it quickly, lest you get in trouble." Huo Qingyuan refused to give in. Appearing visibly upset, she asked, "What benefits did she give you? I'm the daughter of the Huo family while she, Yan Jinyi, is just an outsider that our Huo family doesn't want to acknowledge. Does she really think she can do whatever she wants just because she married my second brother? Miss, that's your... Enough, I've never been humiliated like this before. Who is she to make me copy the admonitions for women?" Zhang Qiuquan was about to say something when Yan Jinyi suddenly appeared at the door. She had already changed into a finely made dress, and was now leaning lazily against the doorframe, with a toothpick in her mouth. Although she was dressed demurely, she gave off the vibes of a hooligan. "Uncle Zhang, don't bother wasting your breath on her. I've already said that she won't get to have dinner until she's done copying it. Since she doesn't want to eat, leave her be." Zhang Qiuquan looked at Huo Qingyuan and saw her glaring at Yan Jinyi with a look of resentment. Shaking his head, he walked out of the study. Huo Qingyuan had been showered with love and spoiled by her family since she was a child and was indeed a little hot-tempered. He thought that Yan Jinyi might be able to discipline her and make her change. Chapter 39. Chapter 39, Chapter 39, You're so ugly and you have a foul mouth too. Seated by the desk, Huo Qingyuan raised her chin and looked at Yan Jinyi arrogantly from above, as if trying to tell her, "What can you do to me?" Not bothered at all, Yan Jinyi shrugged her shoulders and asked, "Are you sure you don't want to copy it? Do you really take yourself as the second young mistress of the Huo family? You have no right to order me around," Huo Qingyuan rebutted with a look of disdain. "Yeah, but people always do what I say." She squinted, straightened her body, and took a few steps back. "Miss Huo, your cheeks are slightly puffy, which is not a good thing. I can't help but beat up people who look too ugly and have a foul mouth. For the sake of your safety, Miss Huo, you'd better just not eat at all." After saying that, she decisively closed the door, took out the key, and locked it. When Huo Qingyuan heard the sounds of the door being locked, she finally realized what Yan Jinyi had done. She dashed towards the door with a sullen expression and pulled the door as hard as she could. "Yan Jinyi, how dare you lock me up? You don't want to stay in the Huo family anymore, do you?" It was silent outside the door. "Yan Jinyi, you wretched woman." Huo Qingyuan gritted her teeth and yelled while banging on the door of the study, "Open the door. How can you lock me up because of someone whom the Huo family doesn't approve of? Yan Jinyi, open the door." Finally, Yan Jinyi's voice sounded outside the door. "Copy the admonitions for women 10 times. Once you're done, come out for dinner." In other words, she meant that Huo Qingyuan would be forbidden from coming out unless she was done with the writing. Overwhelmed with fury, Huo Qingyuan turned around and tore the paper on the table into shreds. Is this Yan Jinyi out of her mind? Isn't it good to stay out of everyone's sight and be an insignificant person? Why must she try so hard to make her presence known? The maids downstairs had already finished preparing dinner. When they saw Yan Jinyi coming downstairs, they immediately swarmed towards her. "Second young mistress, when would you like to have dinner?" She glanced at the second floor and said, "I have something on tonight, I won't be eating." One of them was grounded in her room upstairs while the other was out with his useless friends. What's the point of dinner? She had important things to do. Due to the recent video that became viral and ended up on the hot search list, Yan Jinyi now had 200,000 fans on Weibo. She chose to head to her appointment in the Huo family's car. There were rumors of Shenyang being chaotic recently. She was afraid of death and was worried that someone might deal with her. The car pulled over at the entrance of a Western restaurant with an ancient European-style decor. In her high heels, Yan Jinyi strutted in, carrying a small bag with her. Soon, she saw a young woman sitting in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. The young woman had obviously also seen her. She waved at her in an unusually excited manner. "Jinyi, you are finally here. Come and have a seat, quickly." After Yan Jinyi sat down, the woman eagerly grabbed her arm and said, "I've read the recent news about you. The Huo family didn't give you a hard time, did they?" Tilting her head to the side, Yan Jinyi asked, "Why would they do that?" "Well, you've hit third young master Huo. The people of the Huo family are very protective of each other." "Oh right, It seems that the original owner did not tell her about her marriage with Huo Zishan. That woman was Tan Sang Sang, the only friend of the original owner. She originally studied playwrights and choreography, but after graduating, she became a reporter for the news press. That was also the very reason that she took the initiative to contact Tan Sang Sang, hoping to get some advice from her. Yan Jinyi spoke to her in a gentle tone because Tan Sang Sang looked rather delicate and weak. It's all right, I'm his idol. Yan Jinyi waved her hand and asked, didn't you say you have a suitable director to introduce to me? Tan Sang Sang quickly nodded and said, yeah, he's a director whom I got to know when I was still a student. He's looking for an investor for his new movie. However, Jinyi, who asked you to help them invest? Young mistress looked up and answered, the second young mistress of the Huo family. Tan Sang Sang widened her eyes in shock. The second son of the Huo family is married. That can't be. He's a highly mighty figure who's powerful and above all else. How can he get married? Shouldn't a deity like him stay single until death? Chapter 40, Second Young Mistress is Brilliant. Chapter 40, Second Young Mistress is Brilliant. Where did you get those news from? I'm a reporter from the newspaper agency and I don't even know about it. Did you get duped? Yan Jinyi blinked and said, I've seen her before. Who? The second young mistress of the Huo family. The second young mistress of the Huo family must be very outstanding, huh? Otherwise, how could she be married to someone like Mr. Huo? She'd had the pleasure of meeting the wife of the first son of the Huo family once. She was knowledgeable and learned, and had obviously come from a wealthy family. Hence, she reckoned that the second young mistress must be even more brilliant. Yan Jinyi raised her brow a little and said smugly, that's for sure. Second young mistress is beautiful, has fair skin, and a great figure. She's really elegant too. She's the best woman in this world. Tan Sang Sang stared at Yan Jinyi for a long time before saying, Jinyi, you seem to have changed. You dress better now and you're much more jovial than before. Yan Jinyi touched her nose and asked, who is the person you're going to recommend to me? Just like that, Yan Jinyi switched the topic. Oh, his name is Tao Wei. You know about the movie Peaceful Spring, don't you? It's a low-production sleeper hit that won a Golden Bear Award. Tao Wei. Sounds familiar. However, the original owner did not have a strong impression of that name. Yan Jinyi resolutely whipped out her mobile phone to search for Tao Wei's name on the internet. Tao Wei has completely faded out of the entertainment industry and is despised by many after bullying actors under the management of Tang Group and offending Tang Group. Yan Jinyi's delicate face turned sullen and she pointed at the screen of her mobile phone. You're introducing me to a director whom everyone despises. Is she really the original owner's best friend? Tan Sang Sang nodded sincerely and said, there's a reason for that. I understand director Tao well. Although he has a malicious tongue, he will not randomly alienate or bully the actors. That actress was the one who tried to seduce director Tao after failing to seduce a senior executive of Tang Group. Director Tao rejected her, so she decided to take revenge on him. On top of that, director Tao's junior secretly harmed him, causing him to end up in such a state. Regardless of whether he had been wronged or not, Tao Wei has a bad reputation in the entertainment industry and I finally managed to clear my reputation a little. How can I continue working with him? I often run into director Tao's wife and I've heard her mention that director Tao wrote the script and storyline of this new movie during his 5-year hiatus. He worked on it every day without eating or sleeping well. It's very interesting. After hesitating for a while, Yan Jinyi said, all right, let me meet him. Tan Sang Sang took out her cell phone merrily and called him. After a long time, the call was finally connected and he seemed to have said something that made Tan Sang Sang's expression turn awkward. Jinyi, director Tao said that he's very busy now and he wants you to go see him. He's just a director who has been boycotted and he has the audacity to put on airs with me, huh? Who's the investor? Jinyi, director Tao has a candidate for the male lead in mind, and he's having a discussion with him right now, so. Let's go. If he dares to dupe me, I must beat him up. The two found Tao Wei in the underground parking lot of an upscale neighborhood. He was hugging a man's thigh and begging him sorrowfully. His melancholic voice sounded more sultry than a woman's. The man looked extremely charming and seductive, with a pair of eyes that were shaped like peach blossoms and made him look like a womanizer. At this moment, he was staring at Tao Wei in disdain. I won't work with a director who has no fame or a good reputation. Give up. Brother Hung, this role is specially tailored for you. Believe me, this film will certainly become a big hit after it's produced. I told you, I can take on the role, but you have to get Lu Ran to play the female lead. Lu Ran was the most popular and the best actress of the new generation of celebrities. Every production that she starred in would guarantee a high viewership and rumor had it that all actors who worked with her would rise to fame. Brother Hung, you're putting me in a spot. I get chased away before I even get to see her in person. Chapter 41, I'll be the female lead. Chapter 41, Chapter 41, I'll be the female lead. Zhuang Heng said in an unusually ruthless tone, that's your business. Is that Zhuang Heng? Yan Jinyi looked at Tan Sang Sang. Yes, that's Zhuang Heng. She had heard of Zhuang Heng. At the very least, the original owner was very familiar with that name. He was the best actor in the nation and had an incredibly handsome face. His hobby was flirting with his fans and he was very popular. That wasn't all. He was notorious for being involved in scandals all the time, and just like Huo Zihang, he was on the list of Shenyang's most popular jerks. This jerk just makes a living off his good looks. How can he have any acting chops? In the room, Zhuang Heng refused to budge no matter how Tao Wei pleaded. Hence, Tao Wei decided to go all out and threatened, if you don't agree, I'll commit suicide. By then, the news will all be about me, a director, taking my own life because best actor Zhuang Heng refused to take on the role I offered him. It would definitely affect your future no matter what. Zhuang Heng gritted his teeth and stared at Tao Wei. He had never seen such a thick-skinned and brazen man in his life. You want me to star in the film when you haven't even found the lead actress? What are you trying to do? I can make countless people become devoted to me with my face alone. Will they stop being my fan just because of your suicide? At this point, Zhuang Heng sneered, Director Tao, if I were you, I would have switched careers a long time ago. Did you say that you had found an investor? With that lousy reputation of yours, why would anyone invest in your film? Tao Wei's face was a mixture of paleness and redness. Indeed, he did not even have an investor. How could he have the cheek to approach Zhuang Heng? However, he was unwilling to give up just like that. Having lived for more than 40 years, he had put in all his lifelong efforts into his career. How could he be willing to give up? Tao Wei let go of Zhuang Heng's thigh, but he fell onto the ground in defeat. Zhuang Heng patted the hem of his trousers and said, you don't even have any money and you're talking to me about the script and the box office? Without me having to say anything, my fangirls will drown you in their comments. There isn't a female lead at all. Zhuang Heng is so shameless. Yan Jinyi craned his neck and threw her bag over her shoulder before strutting over. Who said there is no female lead? I am the female lead of this production. Upon hearing her arrogant voice, Zhuang Heng and Tao Wei were both stunned. They looked over at her unanimously. In the dim basement parking lot, she was strutting confidently and arrogantly in her high heels. Her features were extremely delicate, as if they had been painted with a brush and ink. Donning an elegant black dress, she was giving off a roguish vibe. Tao Wei's eyes immediately glistened. She's the one. She's the female lead that I'm looking for. Zhuang Heng initially wanted to curse at her, but when he saw that it was a beauty who walked over, he immediately put on a devilish grin. Hey beauty, you want to be the female lead? Can you act? I like beautiful women but not burdensome ones who will drag everyone else down. Yan Jinyi ignored Zhuang Heng and looked at Tao Wei from above. I'll be the female lead and help you with the investor funds, but you must guarantee that the film will not flop. How does that sound? Tao Wei felt that the beautiful woman in front of him was like an angel who had descended from the sky. You are. Yan Jinyi. He finally remembered that she was the person who had beaten up the rich man's son, Huo Zihang, and put Cheng Ruoxiu behind bars. Although he had been on a hiatus for more than 5 years, he was still well aware of all the happenings in the entertainment industry. But, if there's no male lead? Tao Wei looked at Zhuang Heng. Yan Jinyi looked over and humphed with disdain. You went down on your knees to beg such a hideous person. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with your eyes? Hideous person. Zhuang Heng was infuriated. Wretched girl, let me tell you. I'll beat up anyone I hate, regardless of their gender. Chapter 42, I like to make a move before others do. Chapter 42, Chapter 42, I like to make a move before others do. What a coincidence, me too. Yan Jinyi smirked and continued, moreover, I like making a move before others too. Zhuang Heng suddenly had an ominous premonition, and before he could say anything, a sharp pain came abruptly from the back of his foot. Ah! Zhuang Heng's entire leg turned numb because of the pain. He looked down and saw that there was a mark made by the heel of stilettos on the surface of his expensive leather shoes. Beauty, it's not good to be so violent. Be careful, you might be left on the shelf. Pointing at his leather shoes, Zhuang Heng continued, apologize to it? It's none of your business whether I get left on the shelf or not. Did you apologize to my shoes first? Zhuang Heng looked up at Yan Jinyi, not seeming to be angry in the slightest even though she had stepped on him. In Zhuang Heng's opinion, Yan Jinyi was just like his fangirl who was trying to get his attention. Beauty, there's no need to court death in order to seek my attention. Hurry up and apologize before I lose my temper. Is he threatening me? Yan Jinyi grinned radiantly, making Zhuang Heng a little dazed. She suddenly took a step forward and stepped on Zhuang Heng's other foot again. Damn. Zhuang Hong couldn't tolerate it any longer and his face became a little pale with pain. Glaring at her with his peach blossom-shaped eyes, he hollered, "Since you're asking for it, I'll grant you your wish." Tao Wei and Tan Sang Sang's eyelids twitched. They did not expect Yan Jinyi to be so bold as to step on Zhuang Hong's foot. Seeing that Zhuang Hong had lost his temper, the two of them subconsciously went to stop him. But to their surprise, Yan Jinyi suddenly grabbed Zhuang Hong by his collar. With the sound of fabric being torn, Zhuang Hong was thrown onto the ground by Yan Jinyi. The black t-shirt he was wearing had been torn open, revealing a large area of his snowy white skin. Yan Jinyi stared straight at his chest before whistling like a gangster. "You're so fair and tender. No wonder so many rich women are trying to make you their boy toy. Make me their boy toy." Stunned for a moment, Zhuang Hong's handsome face immediately grew sullen and he retorted, "I have plenty of money, do I need to become their boy toy? Does your wealth have anything to do with being a boy toy?" "Damn, I have nothing to say to clap back at her." Zhuang Hong looked at Yan Jinyi's beautiful face with a frown and thought to himself, "This chick is hot. I like her." Like a masochist, Zhuang Hong stared at Yan Jinyi and smiled instead of getting angry. "Who are you? Who told you to follow me? Who do you think you are?" "I'm following you." Yan Jinyi questioned with a look of disdain, completely ignoring Zhuang Hong. "You're Tao Wei, right? You won't be at a loss by making me the female lead. I'll get you an investor too. How's the consideration going?" Tao Wei had found out from some insider information that Yan Jinyi was in an ambiguous relationship with Huo Zihang, but the latter was known to be a playboy who changed girlfriends all the time. "Can a budding D-lister really get me an investor?" He was doubtful. Getting rather displeased, Yan Jinyi chided, "You should feel honored that I'm willing to work with you. Your reputation is like shit and I'm the only one who sympathizes with you. What is the girl being so vulgar and uncouth for?" Tao Wei rubbed his hands together and asked, "I can let you be the female lead, but can you really get an investor? This gorgeous lady sounds as haughty as the female protagonist in my movie. How much money do you need?" "At least 100 million. Tan Sang Sang, who was like a backdrop, gasped in shock while Zhuang Hong looked at him in surprise. Without even frowning, Yan Jinyi said, "Sure. Ahem, not 1, not 10, but 100 million. Can you really help me?" If she could, he would be willing to kneel down and call her his ancestor. Huo Zihang said that Huo Zishan is the wealthiest person in the Huo family. He should have 100 million yuan, right? Whatever, it's not my money anyway. Yes, I can get 100 million yuan for you. Chapter 43, You're a good for nothing. Chapter 43, You're a good for nothing. After remaining silent for half a second, Tao Wei finally asked, "Pardon me for asking, but who is the investor?" Tao Wei suddenly had a look of despair on his face. Zhuang Hong too couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Ha ha ha ha. I was wondering who you could get to invest 100 million yuan. The second young mistress of the Huo family? Why don't you say you are the second young mistress of the Huo family? See, this woman has indeed come for my sake and is doing all this to attract my attention. However, I have to admit that this woman has succeeded." Yan Jinyi was immediately displeased. Staring at Zhuang Hong with a squint, she questioned sternly, "What do you mean? Who doesn't know that the helmsman of the Huo group, Huo Zishan, is stern, fierce, unapproachable and arrogant? He's destined to be single for life, why would he get married? It'd be more plausible if you said that it's the third young mistress." Yan Jinyi raised her brow and looked at Tao Wei again. Tao Wei nodded vigorously. "But what if second young master Huo is indeed married? If second young master Huo is married, I'll broadcast a live stream of me eating shit," Zhuang Hong said with gusto and confidence. Looking at him with an apprehensive gaze, Yan Jinyi asked, "Are you sure?" "Cut the crap. Speaking of which, could it be an ugly and delusional woman who's dreaming of marrying a rich man? Did she con you?" "Ugly woman. He actually called me an ugly woman. She could tolerate everything else, but she'd definitely not allow anyone to call her an ugly woman right in front of her face." Yan Jinyi clenched her fists and lifted her arm to give him a hard slap on his face. "Ugly woman? Screw you, you're the ugly one. What's wrong with you? You've got such a foul mouth." Zhuang Hong covered his handsome face which immediately swelled up. Glowering at Yan Jinyi with his eyes wide open, he hollered, "How dare you hit my face? Do you know how precious my face is?" With a look of disgust, Yan Jinyi barked, "Stop being all smug and conceited with me. I happen to be irked by you now. Come on, let's fight. If you win, I'll spare you from having to eat feces. This wild shrew is so angsty." Zhuang Hong rolled up his sleeves and retorted, "Sure, I'll teach you a lesson today." Soon, the two of them got into a scuffle. Tan Sang Sang and Tao Wei were extremely anxious. Just as they were about to call the police, Zhuang Heng's wailing sounded again. Zhuang Heng, who was more than 1.8 meters tall, was half kneeling on the ground like a timid little girl now, while Yan Jinyi tugged his ear with one hand and clamped his hands down with her other hand. You ought to find out who I am. Have you ever robbed or led the mafia? Have you ever flirted with girls and abducted gigolos? You're just a good-for-nothing. Zhuang Heng found her to be extremely interesting. Although he was being tortured badly, he really liked her. He debuted as a child actor and had been in the entertainment industry for several years, garnering countless fans because of his handsome face, which was to the liking of both men and women. Everyone who saw him would try to flatter him and cozy up to him, but Yan Jinyi was an exception. Zhuang Heng smiled sinisterly. The feistier she was, the more he liked her. Looking at Zhuang Heng's confident expression, Yan Jinyi frowned and asked, "Are you a masochist? Is there something wrong with Zhuang Heng's brain? He's batting his eyelid at me flirtatiously even after being beaten up. He must be possessed by a ghost." Tao Wei let Zhuang Heng be the male lead because of his good looks, but now, his face was swollen and Tao Wei felt extremely distressed, as if he was the one who had been slapped. Yan Jinyi is far more wild, tyrannical, and brutal than the rumors. Miss Yan, please spare him on my account. He's going to be the male lead in my film. Who else can I look for if he gets disfigured? Chapter 44, My beloved person hit him. Chapter 44, My beloved person hit him. Tan Sang Sang chimed in at the side, "Jinyi, let go of him first. If the fans of the best actor find out, they'd definitely skin you alive." Did Yan Jinyi suffer some kind of blow? Why has she become so aggressive? Yan Jinyi humphed coldly and let go of Zhuang Heng. She then took out a black card with gold embossed words on it. 100 million, right? I'll hand you the money and you will. Looking at Zhuang Heng, Yan Jinyi continued, broadcast a live stream of you eating feces. The black card was particularly eye-catching. Actually, the eye-catching thing was the word Huo that was embossed in gold on the card. Every person of status who had a little understanding of the people in the upper-class society would understand the meaning of that card. The top tycoons were generally all VIP clients of banks, and the credit cards that everyone in their families used would be specially customized. The striking one in Yan Jinyi's hand obviously belonged to the Huo family. Does Yan Jinyi really know the second young mistress of the Huo family? No, wait, the famous helmsman of the Huo group is really married. Feeling like he had discovered a huge secret, Tao Wei even forgot about his agenda today as his eyes were glued onto the black card. Tan Sang Sang swallowed her saliva, completely convinced by Yan Jinyi's words. His face swollen, Zhuang Heng said calmly, "Damn. Is there really a second young mistress of the Huo family?" Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrow and thought, "Am I a ghost then? Oh, Miss Yan. You must be Miss Yan, right? Come on, let's get inside the car. It must be tiring for you to be wearing such high heels. Would you like to have some water? I have mineral water in the car, you can have as much as you wish." Tao Wei could not be bothered about Zhuang Heng either. Getting an investor was the most important thing for now, especially if the investor was from the Huo family. Putting aside the fact that the entertainment company in the nation belonged to the Huo group, the marketing gimmick of emphasizing the fact that the second young mistress of the Huo family had personally invested in his film alone would propel it to success. It seems that Mr. Huo is keeping too low of a profile. Miss Yan, did you get to know second young mistress Huo through third young master Huo? Indeed, beautiful women tend to have beautiful friends. Yan Jinyi didn't care how genuine Tao Wei's words were. She was just glad to be complimented for her beauty. I am Huo Zihang's goddess. In other words, she was trying to say that it wouldn't be strange that she knew Huo Zihang's second sister-in-law. Yes, not only are you third young master's goddess. Miss Yan, you are also my goddess. Well, since the investment has been confirmed, shall we go see second young mistress Huo to get the contract signed now? Yan Jinyi nodded and said, leave this matter to me. You don't need to see her. I'm the second young mistress of the Huo family anyway. Tan Sang Sang got inside the car too, and the three of them zoomed away in the car. Zhuang Heng, who was still seated on the ground, was dumbfounded. Do they take me, the best actor, to be dead? Can't they see a major hunk like me? With anger written all over his face, Zhuang Heng whipped out his cell phone to call his manager. Yan Jinyi, I want all the information about her in 10 minutes time. If this feisty chick is really going to star in this film, I shall make do and take it on. Zhuang Heng grinned with half his face swollen. That feisty chick is mine from now on. When the manager arrived to pick up Zhuang Heng, he got a great shock the moment he saw how disheveled Zhuang Heng had become after the beating. Did a retarded die-hard fan threaten you? Do you need me to call the police? I was hit by my crush. Crush? Huo Zishan was having a meeting. His cell phone, which was beside his arm, lit up all of a sudden. It was a text message alert. A fund transfer of 100 million yuan from your account ending XXXX was completed. Huh. A look of bewilderment appeared on his face. He suddenly recalled the call that Huo Zihang had given him. Second brother, your wife is about to squander away your assets. It's just 100 million, I'll let her squander it. Chapter 45, Go ahead and jump. Chapter 45, Go ahead and jump. Tao Wei looked at the fund's transfer of 100 million yuan in disbelief. He swallowed his saliva and turned to look at Yan Jinyi who was opposite him. He then pushed the chair away and got ready to kneel down. I'm not dead, you don't need to kneel before me. Since we're both in the same production team now, I'll call you Jinyi. Tao Wei smiled deferentially and continued, Jinyi, you and second young mistress Huo are truly my lifesavers. Why did second young mistress Huo suddenly want to invest in my film? She likes the script. She likes the script. Tao Wei frowned and thought, this doesn't seem right. I've been keeping my script well under wraps. Second young mistress Huo shouldn't have seen it. Ahem, well, does second young mistress Huo know what the film is about? Yan Jinyi looked up in surprise and asked, what is it about? I suspect that second young mistress is too simple-minded and has too much money in her hands. But then again, to be able to marry a powerful figure like second young master Huo, she must be wealthy. I'm filming a period film that pays homage to the film style of the 80s and 90s, where the female lead is a bandit who is both righteous and evil while the male lead is a reputable Taoist monk. Bandit. Yan Jinyi's eyes lit up and she thought, the role of a bandit is wonderful. A bandit is such a significant role. Especially a female one. Since you've got such a good foresight and taste, feel free to voice out if you need more money, Director Tao. Yan Jinyi patted her chest generously. Turns out second young mistress Huo is so easily convinced. She's so compliant towards Yan Jinyi too. Ah, I have to serve Yan Jinyi well. Suddenly recalling something, Tao Wei sighed again. Director Tao, is there something you're displeased about? No, nothing. It's just the male lead. Yan Jinyi knew he was referring to Zhuang Heng. Hence, she humphed coldly and said with certainty, Zhuang Heng will definitely agree to star in this film. Tao Wei looked at Yan Jinyi with puzzlement. Zhuang Heng was not the type to fear the wealthy and powerful. Even if the helmsman of the Huo family gave him any pressure, he wouldn't take it on unless he wanted to. He likes being abused. Yan Jinyi picked up the glass of juice and took a sip, toasting to the fact that Zhuang Heng was an oddball. By the time she returned to the Huo family manor, the sky had already turned dark and the street lamps around the manor were still on, glowing together with the stars in the sky. Yan Jinyi walked slowly with her hands on her back and suddenly heard a burst of calls coming from the side of the mansion. Miss Huo, take it easy, what if you get hurt? Uncle Zhang is right. Miss Huo, let's talk things over. Yan Jinyi quickly walked over and saw Zhang Qiuquan standing downstairs with a bunch of servants and bodyguards, all staring at the second floor nervously. She looked up to see that Huo Qingyuan was sitting on the railing of the balcony of the second floor. What's this all about? Seeing that Yan Jinyi had returned, Zhang Qiuquan subconsciously sighed in relief. Second young mistress, Miss Huo wants to jump down from the second floor because no one is opening the door for her. Okay. Yan Jinyi nodded unusually calmly and looked at Huo Qingyuan. What are you dilly-dallying for? Go ahead and jump. Everyone else present was speechless and bewildered. Second young mistress, do you know what you are talking about? At the sight of Yan Jinyi, Huo Qingyuan got even more agitated. Yan Jinyi, you don't have to be smug about this. Once second brother comes home, he will definitely divorce you. Before that, you'd better open the door for me if you still want to live a good life. Otherwise, I will jump down from here. She was sure that Yan Jinyi did not dare to really let her jump. If she got injured, Yan Jinyi would have to bear the consequences. Not uttering a single word, Yan Jinyi turned around and sat on the bench at the side to rest. Pour me a glass of milk. What does Yan Jinyi mean by this? Huo Qingyuan glared at her and the two remained in a stalemate. After finishing the glass of milk, Yan Jinyi looked at the time and said, it's time to sleep. Tell me when Huo Qingyuan has jumped. Chapter 46, When I Beat Her. Chapter 46, When I Beat Her. As she spoke, she got ready to leave. Huo Qingyuan panicked and asked, Yan Jinyi, are you really not afraid that I might jump and get injured? Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes and said, it's none of my business. You don't even dare to jump from the second floor. I take my hats off to you for being such a coward. This is different from what I expected. What changed this woman Yan Jinyi? Yan Jinyi, come here and open the door for me. Do you hear? So what if I don't? If you have what it takes, jump down and bite me. Yan Jinyi sounded extremely arrogant. Huo Qingyuan's chest was heaving up and down. As the heiress of the Huo family, she would be the center of attraction wherever she went and everyone would suck up to her. In the upper-class circle, she was voted as the top socialite. Today, she even had the impulse to kill someone because of Yan Jinyi's provocation. She must have been pretending to be meek and obedient in the past. Yan Jinyi, if you still do not open the door, I will call second brother immediately. Yan Jinyi's voice came from far away. No matter who you call, it's useless. If you're that capable, why don't you call a deity to help you? Outrageous. Huo Qingyuan looked downstairs and gauged the distance to be about more than 3 meters. It was indeed very high above the ground. Will my long and beautiful legs become fractured if I jump down from here? Yan Jinyi ordered everyone to leave the spot within a minute. All of a sudden, Huo Qingyuan was left sitting alone on the balcony. Most of the summer heat was blown away by the night breeze, and the moonlight was scattered all over the floral garden, making it look extraordinarily beautiful. Huo Qingyuan did not expect that Zhang Qiuquan and the group of bodyguards and servants would really leave according to Yan Jinyi's orders. So, what has happened at home during my absence? Is Yan Jinyi possessed by a ghost? Where's third brother? Just as she was contemplating if she should give in and rewrite the admonitions for women 10 times, the sound of a sports car being driven into the manor resounded at the right time. Looking at the striking blue Ferrari, Huo Qingyuan's eyes lit up and she immediately began clamoring. Third brother! Third brother, quickly come here! Huo Zihang got out of the car with a delicate gift bag, and as soon as he walked a few steps away, he heard Huo Qingyuan's voice as she called out to him. Slightly stunned, he tried to find the direction of the voice and walk towards it. When he looked up, he saw Huo Qingyuan sitting on the balcony railing, clad in a white dress that made her look like a female ghost. Huo Qingyuan, what the hell are you doing? Huo Qingyuan was on the verge of tears. She had been on a strict diet lately and went home famished, thinking that she would get to enjoy a sumptuous feast. In the end, third brother, that woman Yan Jinyi has gone mad, how dare she lock me up in my room? Why did she lock you up? God knows why. There's something wrong with her head. She really regards herself as a member of the Huo family. She even called me brainless and made me copy the admonitions for women 10 times. She wouldn't let me out until I copy them. In the hearts of the members of the Huo family, Huo Zishan was a godlike figure. Therefore, when Yan Jinyi married him, the entire Huo family was disapproving of it. Huo Zihang had even secretly pulled malicious pranks on her. Since third brother hates Yan Jinyi so much, he'd definitely be exasperated to hear that she had bullied me, his sister. Third brother, that woman even got Uncle Zhang and the rest to leave. She's being too much. Hearing that Huo Zihang had been punished by Yan Jinyi, he didn't sympathize with her and even felt unusually gratified. He found it a pity that Huo Qingyuan didn't receive a beating. Third brother. Just do it then. Huo Zihang said nonchalantly. Huo Qingyuan suspected that she had misheard him and was utterly flabbergasted. Third brother. Your biological sister was bullied by that outsider Yan Jinyi. Shouldn't you be taking revenge for me? Oh, I'll do so when I can beat her one day. Chapter 47, Still Too Young. Chapter 47, Still Too Young. Third brother, have you been brainwashed too? What does he mean if he can beat her? Yan Jinyi's arms and legs are so thin that even I can knock her down. Ah, he's too young. Huo Zihang shook his head and said, on the account that you are my sister, I advise you to hurry up and copy them. Get it over and done with as soon as you can. Even third brother is on Yan Jinyi's side? How did that woman bewitch everyone? Watching Huo Zihang leave, Huo Qingyuan was so infuriated that her heart began to ache. Finally unable to contain her anger, she dashed out of the study. She picked up her cell phone, found Huo Zishan's number, and dialed it. All she heard was a beep. His phone automatically shut down because it's low on battery. Yan Jinyi, I'm not done with you. Huo Qingyuan compromised in the end and cursed her heart out while copying the lines on a few pieces of fresh paper. The first thing Huo Zihang did when he arrived in the living room was to ask where Yan Jinyi was. Second young mistress has gone to bed, answered Zhang Qiuquan, pointing to a cup of milk tea on the dining table that looked particularly delicious. He continued, second young mistress specially left that for you to try, third young master. Milk tea. Doesn't Yan Jinyi know that I hate such beverages that only women love? But. He walked over to stick the straw into the cup before taking a large sip of the milk tea, after which its intense aroma filled his mouth. Huo Zihang raised his eyebrows high and thought, it turns out milk tea is so delicious. Grinning, he asked, Uncle Zhang, did she specially buy this for me? She didn't mention it, but she told me to give it to you when you come home. It was bought especially for me then. Huo Zihang took another mouthful of it and asked, did Huo Qingyuan get any? Did Yan Jinyi buy milk tea for Huo Qingyuan? Suddenly realizing something, Zhang Qiuquan shook his head and said, no. Serves Huo Qingyuan right for not getting any milk tea. Huo Qingyuan finished copying the lines at 12 midnight. When Yan Jinyi woke up, she had just finished a dream. In the dream, she returned to the Black Cloud Fortress and resumed her role as a bandit. Ah, why does it feel so good to be followed everywhere I go by a bunch of underlings? While she was thinking about it, she saw Huo Zihang walking over from the staircase with a cup of milk tea. The milk tea tastes pretty good. Yeah, it does. Getting 3 cups of milk tea for the price of 2 is a good deal too. Tan Sang Sang and I had one each and unfortunately, we couldn't finish the third one. Otherwise, why would Huo Zihang get such an advantage? You got up specifically to open the door for Huo Qingyuan. Yes. Huo Qingyuan had already heard their voices from outside. Standing by the door, she contemplated if she should get mad at Yan Jinyi or pretend to be aloof and nonchalant when she saw her later. She heard her biological third brother's voice again. Huo Qingyuan deserves to be taught a lesson. She's got such a bad temper. You should lock her up for a day and teach her a hard lesson. Huo Qingyuan's face was full of disbelief. Damn it, third brother, why are you being such a traitor? Who always followed me around when we were children and asked me to protect you. She felt that her heart had shattered. Yan Jinyi was kind enough to open the door resolutely. As soon as the door was pushed open, she saw Huo Qingyuan standing inside with a furious expression. Looking at the messy papers strewn all over the table, she asked, "Are you done copying? Are you blind? Can't you see for yourself?" Huo Qingyuan snapped hostilely. Yan Jinyi's eyebrows moved while Huo Zihang secretly gave her a thumbs up. Huo Qingyuan, it's over for you. You can't afford to provoke Yan Jinyi, this vicious, brutal, ferocious, and sharp-tongued woman. Surprisingly, Yan Jinyi did not make things difficult for Huo Qingyuan, and even walked in personally to check. Okay, but your handwriting is hideous. You can go eat now. Chapter 48, Acting like a retard when you're already 19 years old. Chapter 48, Acting like a retard when you're already 19 years old. Huo Qingyuan was fuming mad. Although she initially wanted to say that she didn't want to eat, her stomach began rumbling as soon as she was about to. To her surprise, her food had been prepared in the kitchen. Huo Qingyuan sat at the side by herself and started eating some porridge quietly. Yan Jinyi was seated on the main seat and playing some games while Huo Zihang, the man who was over 1.8 meters tall, was still drinking his half-finished cup of milk tea. He suddenly said, "Get me another cup of milk tea tomorrow, it tastes pretty good." As he spoke, he waved the cup in front of Huo Qingyuan smugly like he was showing it off. "Yan Jinyi bought this milk tea for me, it tastes great." Huo Qingyuan rolled her eyes. After hearing those words, Yan Jinyi felt rather embarrassed, which was rare of her. "I didn't buy it especially for you. I just couldn't finish it on my own." "You're still in college, huh? Huo Zihang will send you to school tomorrow." Seeing that Huo Qingyuan was almost done with the food, she stretched her back and stood up. "I heard that your grades are always at the bottom of your cohort. That's pretty embarrassing for the Huo family. If not for the Huo family's status, would Huo Qingyuan have made it to Shenyang University? What a joke. My grades have nothing to do with you. Yan Jinyi, don't be smug. You're just throwing your weight around because no one else is at home. Once either of my brothers come home, you'll become a wimp." Yan Jinyi was displeased. Sensing the austerity that was emanating from her body, Huo Zihang subconsciously moved his chair away from her. "If you're not from the Huo family, I would have beaten you up. Huo Qingyuan, I'm warning you, don't try to go against me. You can't afford to bear the consequences." Huo Qingyuan was also getting agitated. She dropped the chopsticks on the ground and said, "I've already warned you before. If you still want to stay in the Huo family and be the in-name wife of my brother, just continue staying quiet and making yourself scarce. Stop trying to create trouble here. Do you think I'm that easily scared by you? I have no issues hitting girls at school who are bigger and stronger than you. Why would I be afraid of you?" Yan Jinyi smiled mirthlessly and stared at Huo Qingyuan coldly. The grand and opulent hall was so quiet that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. The servants on night duty were hiding in the kitchen with the butler, holding their breaths. "Huo Zihang, where's my feather duster?" "Feather duster?" Huo Zihang looked at Huo Qingyuan who was still standing in front of the table, silently prayed for her, and then scurried over to get the feather duster. Seeing Huo Zihang hand the feather duster to Yan Jinyi, Huo Qingyuan somehow began to get nervous. "What are you trying to do? Yan Jinyi, are you thinking of hitting me?" If Huo Qingyuan was not a member of the Huo family, looked uglier, or was a boy, she would have hit her without any qualms. Huo Qingyuan's temper was similar to what she was like in the past. With a sullen expression, Yan Jinyi knocked the feather duster against the table, making shuffling sounds. Huo Zihang's heartbeat unconsciously followed the rhythm of the feather duster. Just as he was hesitating whether he should risk his life to stop them and prevent a fight from happening later, Yan Jinyi raised her hand and the chicken feather duster fell hard onto the bowl in front of Huo Qingyuan. The exquisite and expensive bowl instantly shattered into pieces. The feather duster landed at a distance that was less than the size of a fist away from Huo Qingyuan's face. She could even feel the wind that was caused by the feather duster when Yan Jinyi swung it. Huo Qingyuan's delicate face turned pale as she stared at the shattered bowl. Yan Jinyi, you're already 19 years old, but you're acting like a retard. If you don't know what to say, just shut up, or else, this feather duster will land on you next. Chapter 49, Before I Turn Evil. Chapter 49, Before I Turn Evil. You called me a retard. Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrows high and looked askance at Huo Qingyuan. She said arrogantly, yes, I did. Huo Qingyuan clenched her fists and pushed the chair behind her. Just as she was about to dash towards Yan Jinyi, Huo Zihang's eyelids twitched and he reached his long leg out to stop her. Huo Qingyuan, go upstairs and get some sleep. I'll send you to school tomorrow. Third brother, you've seen how arrogant that woman was just now. How can such a vicious woman stay in the Huo family? Huo Qingyuan's face turned pale and she pointed at Yan Jinyi. This woman is so thick-skinned. Her parents are dead, so she came to our family and tried to become related to us. Her parents aren't impressive figures of status either. I really suspect if this engagement is a sham. You even brought Yan Jinyi's parents up, you probably have a death wish. Shut up. Huo Zihang was furious and panicky about this stupid sister of his. He quickly glanced at Yan Jinyi and saw that she was rather composed. He wondered if she was secretly brewing her anger in preparation for an eruption later. In the original owner's memory, her parents were money grubbers who had both died in a car accident over a year ago. However, it was because they had offended others during gambling. If she had guessed correctly, the original owner approached the Huo family with the marriage contract because she was afraid that those gamblers would come after her. It's not a pity that such lousy parents are dead. Third brother, don't stop me. Aren't I right? Huo Qingyuan was infuriated and she began running her mouth without thinking. Back then, we all thought that second brother's childhood sweetheart, Yuxi, is going to marry him. Who knew Yan Jinyi would appear out of nowhere? Who is she to marry him? What right does a gambler's daughter have to get married to the Huo family? Huo Qingyuan, don't go overboard. Huo Zihang used to despise Yan Jinyi too and he even hated the fact that she had become his second sister-in-law out of nowhere. However, after interacting with her during this period of time, only an impressive woman like her is compatible with an impressive man like second brother. Especially after hearing Huo Qingyuan criticizing Yan Jinyi, he actually felt somewhat irritated. Huo Zihang, you've been brainwashed by Yan Jinyi, haven't you? I told you to go upstairs and sleep. If you don't want to be beaten to a pulp, hurry up and get lost. Third brother told me to get lost. Third brother told me to get lost because of a brutal, violent, and pretentious woman who resorts to despicable means. Huo Qingyuan's eyes were filled with tears and she detested Yan Jinyi even further. Clenching her fists tightly, she slammed it onto the table. Ignoring the pain, she hollered, Yan Jinyi, don't you be smug, I will never acknowledge you as my second sister-in-law, I will definitely throw you out. Yan Jinyi remained silent and simply stared at the clean floor, seemingly thinking about something. The daughter of a gambler doesn't deserve a good life. The person who swore that he would marry her had also been stopped by his parents who minded the fact that she was a bandit. They even harmed many innocent women in the fortress. Later on, with a bloodthirsty smile, Yan Jinyi killed everyone in that family. Yes, she killed all of them. There had been a downpour for 3 consecutive days back then, but it still did not wash away the heavy smell of blood on her body. However, the world in this era was very civilized, as there were many laws and regulations. She didn't mind being a law-abiding citizen, but if someone really bullied her, she would have 1,000 ways to make them suffer even if she couldn't kill them. Huo Zihang, control your sister's mouth before I lose my temper. Yan Jinyi looked at Huo Zihang with a straight face and headed upstairs after saying those words coldly. Huo Zihang found Yan Jinyi to be too terrifying at this moment. Part 1 of the series ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe so we can be motivated to make even better videos in the future.